Bang. Good evening.
Good.
You're doing your sticker book, Colin. Is that Oxford? Outrageous. Get off this show. Oxford, you know.
This is Luke Payne's fault. Luke Payne.
I know it is Luke Payne's fault. Anyway,
Yeah.
good evening to everyone watching. As you may have seen, there are not just two. We've improved this show by another 100% because we've got a professional. A professional's joined us.
Hottest new YouTuber.
Professional YouTuber. So everyone watching out there in the ether, please welcome Javine to the show. He'll be co-hosting with us tonight. AKA our fresh off the run, our hot new YouTuber. If you haven't watched him already, please go and do it. I'm telling you, go and do it. Some cracking content. So Javine, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for jumping on with us tonight.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Anything for the Dons. I've followed this club for 21 years. This is my hometown club, and it's just an absolute honour to be invited onto this show.
A pleasure.
Everybody says that. It must be.
Yeah, it must. But no, we've got plenty to talk about, and not just that. We have now got Cole, not just the cowshed, but the family stand is covered as well because Javine is covering it. So we're slowly coming around the stadium.
Yeah,
with the social media. So,
all we need now is Luke Payne in the away end, and we've done a lot.
What can we say? Anyway, lots to get through tonight. Say Javine,
we got a packed show.
Yeah, you've got me, you've got Javine, you've got Colin, and others joining us. There will be more than 4 on this screen at some point tonight. I know, shock.
Which will probably mean that I drop off.
Not at all. Not at all. But we'll be talking about lots of different things tonight. Absolutely. So before we get into our roll call, as always on this show 68, Cole, of the new version, because we used to do this many years ago under different guys.
Yeah.
Show 68 shows in. Can you believe it?
No.
Can you believe it? I can't.
I say it every week and I still can't believe it.
Mad, right? Mad. But again, we couldn't do any of this without our main sponsor for the show, which is the Casbah, rolling along at the bottom outside gate 7 on a match day. And I will say this weekend's going to be a little bit busier. We'll talk about that a bit more.
Yeah, a little bit busy.
But Kaz will be there from 9 a.m. So if you want breakfast, get yourself down there for breakfast. 9 a.m. to 4:15, Casbah, outside gate 7. Anything you can think of, he can make it within reason. Obviously, we're not going to do barbecue and anything else, but
beef stew and dumplings.
He's pretty creative. He's pretty creative in what he does. So as I say, go and see Kaz if you do get down there early on Saturday. And again, more to come about Harrogate, I suppose, and we'll talk all things Harrogate, all things Gillingham and beyond tonight as well. Yeah. But as I say, we do have the Luke Payne review. Bit of a twist this week, Cole. I won't say too much just yet.
Really?
There is. We'll wait.
You mean he's going to do it with that makeup tonight?
Who knows? Who knows? I know his makeup artist is on strike. Maybe
dispute.
Okay. There we go. We're going to do injury of the week because there are again 2. We started this as a joke.
Well, there's a little bit of a twist on that as well this week, isn't there?
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. But this is something, again, Javine, we started the injury of the week, just to let you know, as everyone watching. As a joke, because we thought it won't be that bad. And literally every week since we started it,
we've had injury of the week.
We apologise to the fan base for causing the trauma of injury of the week. So there we go. But more to come.
As long as Callum Patterson comes back, and as long as Nathaniel Mendes-Lang comes back, that's the main thing.
Well,
absolutely.
We're hearing that NML says on his Twitter feed, see you Saturday.
What that means?
Thank God for that.
He's up the away end.
Could be cryptic. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. We'll talk a bit more about that.
I'd have to keep that in my next time I do my praying. I'd have to keep that in mind. I'd have to say, please God, can Nathaniel Mendes-Lang come back? Because I think, in all seriousness, I do think we have missed these players, and I think obviously Callum Patterson has come in. He's absolutely been on fire, but since he's been injured, I don't think he's been the same. So I'm hoping Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, I'm hoping he can come back in and he can give that squad the lift up it needs going into the business end of the season, because I don't want us to fall out now after how well we've done this season.
100%, 100%.
Nobody does, mate.
And you know what? If prayers add to that, I'm with you on it. We've got to do something to get that man back on the pitch, but fantastic. We'll come on to say a bit more of that. We've also got team talk. I would say with Chris and Ryan, Ryan was leading the charge this week because Chris hasn't been well, but there is another special guest involved in that lineup tonight as well. So we'll talk a bit more about that and listen to Team Talk a little later on tonight. We've got John's Unplugged Player of the Month that's come up for February. So, as I say, G-Van, you will be involved in that discussion as well. So get your thinking on and see where we go with that one, Colin, because it's going to be an interesting one for February.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that hard, but we'll have a talk about that.
I haven't. It's a difficult one. This month I'm generally finding it a struggle. We've got the community day, obviously coming up. We'll talk a bit more about Harrogate, things that are being planned, but we want your input as well. Good idea, bad idea, somewhere in between. Anything else that you think we could be doing? We'd love to hear your thoughts again. Stick them in the comments as we go through the show. Sponsorship is another thing we'll talk about. As I say, Neil Hart revealed that the next season we'll see a full sponsorship of the stands or the ground with a headline shirt sponsor as well, which is obviously.
And remember, who revealed it first? We did.
You heard it here first. We told you
we told you that Suzuki would no longer be on the front of the shirt. And apparently, 3 days later, the Citizen tried to claim it as an exclusive. It happened here.
It did. What I will say, whilst we think about it, and before I forget as well, because invariably the show will run through, I actually want to say a personal thank you to Suzuki because they have backed this club for many a year and been our main shirt sponsor. And the money that they've given us prior to the takeover has been really, really critical to everything about this club. So can I just put on record my thanks to Suzuki? I'm sorry to see them go in, but I do appreciate everything they've done for the club.
And not only that, they provided the car that took Scott Lindsay away from the ground.
Even better. There you go. You can't ask for more. You can't ask for more. But there we go. We've got the minutes applause as well on Saturday. Again, very difficult situation with Gary Stanley, obviously the security guard from CMK, as everyone probably would have heard. Terrible news. So there's a 50-second minute round of applause that we would like to help everyone here, everyone listening.
So get spread the word.
Spread the word. Tragic events, heartbreaking events. But as I say, if we can remember Gary in a small way on Saturday, particularly with the community day, it seems quite an apt time to be doing it. But
very fitting.
Yeah, definitely. As you saw with Colin, EFL stickers. We've had several requests, Colin.
Yeah, all from me.
Hoping to start a swap meet.
Come on, I've got a few
coming to Oxford. It's making me feel ill. It's making me feel ill. Come on, get rid of that one. Find us.
If you want to be really ill,
no, don't. If you point it to that, I'm shutting you down.
I've collected all of AFC.
I'd rip that page out the book.
Okay, all right.
There we go. Anyway. Swap meets and things. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, if you drop me a what do they call it? DM. Drop me a DM. If you're collecting, drop me a DM. Exactly. I want to complete it.
And also, at around about 8 o'clock, so about 4 or 5 minutes time, hopefully a little bit later than that maybe, we have View from the other side. We've got Neil from Harrogate who's going to be joining us. We did have a Gillingham fan due to be joining us, but unfortunately due to family emergency can't. Although the twist and the special guest that I mentioned will be.
We've got another Gillingham fan called Luke, haven't we?
We've got another Gillingham fan. No, but we have got someone to talk about Gillingham on the show a little later.
All right, okay.
We'll talk a bit more about that. Anyway, I'm going to get into into a few hellos before we jump into the rest of the show. Hamid's joined us. He said, "It's time." Boom. Thank you, Hamid, for joining us as always. We appreciate you. Glenn has joined us. He said, "Good evening." Evening to you, Glenn. Hope you're well. Matt's joined us again, as always. Matt says, "Good evening, chaps. How are we doing? Hope you controlled yourselves when we scored on Saturday. And according to Cambridge fans, we aren't allowed to celebrate a 96-minute equaliser anymore." So there we go. There we go. I mean, again, I was in Germany, but I was watching it on a stick that was being streamed on my phone, and we'll leave it there. But yeah, it was a really, really good game to watch.
I had to hang on to a pillar on the terrace because I thought I was going to get knocked over. I was hanging on to it for grim death, mate. It was mental.
So it was like the end scene of Titanic, I take it.
Well, when Aaron Collins jumped into the crowd, mate, it was just crazy.
It was brilliant.
There was arms and legs everywhere.
Javine, were you at the game?
I wasn't at the game, but I was watching it on TV. And when we got that penalty, I remember I was just praying. I just had my hands together. I started meditating. I was thinking, please, can we score this?
I love it, Jivan. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think I had any nails left at the end of that game. I was just thinking, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
wasn't it?
I'll tell you about the funny thing when we were there was we got the penalty and then everybody celebrated and then there was a deathly hush.
Yeah.
From our fans. It was like almost like G-Fan says, oh my God, I hope we score. What? And then you get thinking, what if he say, because he'd had a brilliant game there, keeper.
He did, but I could see him diving one way and Aaron Collins going the other. I knew he was going to.
Yeah, he waited for him to go, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, but I could sense it in his body language.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he was meant. By the way, just to clarify before we roll on any further, I'm not wearing a Cambridge United top. If you're worried about it, this is.
He is.
No, this is my hurling top from Ireland for Kilkenny. I know the Irish boys are watching, but again, I put it on because it looks very similar to our 2019 away kit. Which is quite funny.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah. And again, thank you to the Irish boys. We appreciate you guys as well. And again, thanks for watching all the way over from Dublin and further afar, Kilkenny and others.
Anyway, carry on.
Ryan says, "Hello, you MK legends." Thank you, Ryan. You're a legend as well, and we appreciate you. One of our special guests has dropped into the green room, so I shall bring them on in a little bit. I'll let them do the peanuts and drinks and all of that in the background before we bring them on. Sheila has joined us. She said, Wednesday night special, Don's Unplugged. Hello, Don's fans. Hello to you.
Sheila.
Our second guest has dropped into the green room. So we'll give another 5 or so minutes and we'll bring them both on, Cole. So there we go. But so we'll definitely be with them soon. Ollie has joined us. He said, Oi, oi, legends. How are you doing this wicked Wednesday? Or should I say, top of the evening, Aidan? How's the crack? Still enjoying the Soul King Cambridge fan? Absolutely, Ollie. Absolutely. Thank you very much, my friend, and hope you're well as well. And you're having a good evening as well, Ollie. Also, we've got Craig. Craig's joined us. Good evening. He said, it's getting tight at the top. Come on, you Dons. It really is, Craig, and we'll be talking more about that this evening.
Very aggressive League 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's enough to give you a heart attack the way things are going at the moment, that's for sure. There we go. Danny says, Guten Abend, Legenden und Colin. Weiß jemand, ob Hedges seine Yeah, I'm not saying that last bit out loud, Danny. All I will say is he's saying, good evening, legends and Colin. I'll leave the other bit for you.
I think you should leave it there because he's probably knowing Danny abusive.
Exactly. But no, thank you, Danny. Always a pleasure. Carrie Ann, and I'm sure you're waving from the big screen as every week. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you, G-Man. We got a wave at Carrie Ann.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Special guest wave. I love it. There we go. Russell, the other side of the Forgem household, has joined us. Good evening, legends, especially Colin and Aidan.
Thanks, Russell.
Thank you, Russell. We appreciate you too.
Somebody got it right.
Well, someone had to at some point.
Evening, Grant.
Evening, Grant. He said, evening, Dons and Donettes. Good to see you, Grant. Hope you're well.
Saw Grant at Cambridge. His little lad wearing the Dons Unplugged out.
He's on the photo as well.
Got in the citizen. Well done.
Evening,
Good
Stephen.
evening, Grant.
Thank you for joining us. George says, evening, guys. Some results went in our favour yesterday.
Yeah.
Looking at a good performance on Saturday in front of 22,000.
22,000.
Can you believe it? It's going to be a hell of a game, that's for sure. We've got Danny saying in English what it says there.
Everybody's favourite sandwich.
Exactly. It's not quite what it said, but yeah.
Evening, Don.
Evening, lads, from Don.
One of the Irish Dons.
Evening, Don from Dublin. Thank you for joining, my friend. I am sorry about the Kilkenny top. I'm sure you wanted a Dublin club, but we'll take it. But the flag's there for you as well. Colin's joined us as well. Evening, Colin. He said, evening, chaps. I don't think...
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah, we are. Fantastic. And Kane has joined us as well. Kane says, even though it's just typical. We finally look like we're going to have a real change. Do
you know, I thought about that. How ironic that would be, wouldn't it, eh? We're on the brink, and all of a sudden they declare war, worldwide.
Outrageous, right? Donald, if you're listening, do you. The rest of the world just wants to get on with the Football League, yeah? Can we get back to the serious nature and stop dithering about with things that are going to cause us to not get promoted, which is far more important.
Anyway, not going to get political.
Indeed. Grant says, evening, Javan, as well. He said, come on, you, Don. So there you go.
Evening, Grant. Thanks for the last comment.
Just that, you got a lot of love already. Look, there you go. Matt's saying as well. Welcome, Jivan. So another one.
Hey, Matt.
There we go. And another, we've got lucky handshake.
Yes, the lucky handshake. Danny, if you're still here, I hope you haven't jinxed it. Dude, I can't really talk because I probably do tempt fate every single time Don's play. But yeah, the lucky handshake. Let's hope we can do something. Something. If you're not going to be at the game, let's hope we can do something over the phone or something. Then, so it doesn't go in vain, because we do need to beat Harrogate Town, and they will be up for it.
Absolutely. But no, good stuff. Another one as well. George says, great to have Jivan on the show.
Thank you, George. Really appreciate that.
This is the Jivan Appreciation Society this afternoon. So
should we just go and leave you?
We love it. I love it as well. Jivan, the man, the myth, the absolute legend. Give it a few episodes. Sky Sports will sign you, mate. That's from Ollie. Fantastic. Love it.
That's the end goal. I'm still looking for my next job. So if they're hiring, I'd apply.
There you go. You heard it here first. Stephen says evening as well. I think we've got evening Jivan as well.
Thanks, Stephen.
And then Matt says, what shirt? What shirt is that wearing? It is, as I say, Kilkenny Gaelic football.
It's Cambridge United, Matt, I'll tell you.
Yeah, if only, right? You give me no end of grief. I don't go to Don's anymore, but when I used to, I'd go Casbah every time. I asked Jivan, and that is, I can't even see what's from my glasses. Who's that from? Aaron.
That's from my brother. Yeah, we used to have.
It's your brother. All right, there you go.
Yeah,
Family
that's my older brother. Yeah, we've had season tickets since 2005. Me and my dad still go. Yeah, I remember the Casbah days. In fact, I don't think we've purchased anything from Casbah since January last year, when we did actually play and beat Harrogate Town. So I've been thinking, do I need to buy something from Casbah on Saturday if we are to beat an informed Harrogate Town sides?
You're a little bit superstitious, I've noticed.
Not at all.
A little bit.
Handshakes, things like that.
It's all good. But no, the question is your brother coming to the Harrogate game, though, Jivan?
Well, you know what? If he's still watching, I'm going to ask him that. Aaron, are you coming to the Harrogate Town game? I think you are down with this weekend, and the tickets are free. So are you coming down for the Harrogate game?
Aaron, come on.
Do we need you down?
Family ties down. Come on, we need you there.
Can I just quickly say, as far as I'm aware, there are no ticket sales on Saturday.
Not Saturday. Before Saturday, there is.
Before Saturday. I think it ends at midnight on Friday night. So don't leave it.
Because, Don, Mick asked for it. That's all I'm going to say. Mick asked for it from Kilkenny. So there we go. But yeah, I apologise, Don. Anyway, he says, even on from Don Dell, a few more comments, and we'll jump in and bring our guests into the show. And said, can we have Jivan's YouTube account to subscribe to him? Now, that is a really good point, actually. What we will do at the end of the show is fire up a link within the Facebook groups, if that's okay, Jivan, to make sure
that's more than okay with me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Share the love. But we'll get that on there, and we'll make sure, again, fantastic to do that as well. Good shout. Good evening, all. Hoping everyone is well from Luke. Luke, thank you for joining. Appreciate it as well. Harry says, evening, everyone. Evening to you.
Evening, Harry.
Now we've got an old Don who's joined us, Mr. John Bullard. It's an evening, Aidan and Colin. Good evening to you, John. Hope you're well.
John, for a long while.
John, if you are listening in again tonight, hopefully we'll get to see you at the Harrogate game if you manage to get a ticket. So let us know as well. Be good to see you. Been a while. It says, gutted to lose Suzuki. Hope that it's not someone weird or random betting.
I would completely agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
But not from what we've been told, have we?
Now, from what I would just like to say, if I had the choice here, I'd like Marmite, because love us or hate us, we're always going to be there. I'll leave it there.
We know we're not getting that. We know that's gone.
I know it's not. But I'm just saying, wouldn't that have been a good one, Marmite?
But it was investigated, apparently, wasn't it?
Apparently so. So. But
as far as I'm aware, it's from abroad.
Yes, two of them are from abroad.
Two of them are,
Anyway, so Danny raised a really good point. So congratulations to our ladies captain, who has been called up by Bermuda.
Yeah, so, well done.
Great to see that. Fantastic effort. I said that the Citizen printed is in Africa.
Oh, who knew Bermuda was in Africa?
One day I might send them a geography book. But there we go. Anyway, Harry says people on X having a pop at us for free tickets. Moan when we don't fill it and moan when we do. Can't wait. Do you know what, Harry? But we don't care. It's hated or adored, never ignored.
When you think about it, Harry,
publicity.
Exactly, Jiva. 100%.
When you think about it, Harry, it makes great sense. 15,000 people, right? 15,000 people. If every one of them spend a fiver, you work it. As Eni Aluko used to say, you do the maths.
Exactly. Anyway, look, we've got a few more comments to get through.
Evening, Ashley.
That, as I say, our esteemed guests are waiting, so we'll wrap up with this. It says, again, Grant said it was great atmosphere on Saturday. Rumor has it Ollie is still walking down the road looking for a pub.
Yeah.
Ollie, I can't confirm or deny, but I know he's alive and well, Grant. I know he's alive and well. Evening, gents, as well from Matt. Thank you, Matt, for joining.
Evening, Matt.
Evening, chaps, as well from Colin. Thank you, Colin, for joining. Dave says, nice to have someone on the show with hair. I've got nothing. G Van Hayes, look, he's got hair, he's got youth, he's got knowledge. He's a Dons fan. I mean, again, if Perfect was going to be in a human form, you've kind of got it right there, Dave.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
It'd take me about 10 years to grow a beard like that.
I'd have to get a time machine, unfortunately.
Waving back to you all. New profile photo with a gaffer. I've met him with some of the team before they got the team coach on Friday. Club looks good.
Thank you, Carrie Ann. Thank you for that. And I say we've got hi lads, Bomber Harris is in as well.
We have to talk about this.
Go on.
He was at the game on Saturday.
Go on.
Wearing an RAF flight jacket with Bomber Harris written on the back, and he got an RAF hat on, and he looked magnificent.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, Arthur, if you're doing it this weekend, come and show us at the Casbah.
Yeah, I hope you're wearing it on Saturday, Arthur, because honestly, mate, if I had that, I'll take it off because it was cracking, brilliant,
hilarious. I'd like to see it anyway. There we go. Josh, good evening, gents. A voice has just recovered from Saturday. Mine's going a bit, Josh. To be fair, from a cold. So if I sound a bit croaky, apologies, but I'm glad your voice is recovering. Don has said, Aidan, it's the hurling top. Kilkenny don't play big ball. Well, speak to Mick, Don. I'm sure we'll have
it's a hurling top
about that. I can't. I've got a birthday party to go to, lads. Sorry, that's unfortunate, Aaron. But again, look, do you know what? Appreciate you'll be there in spirit, if nothing else, cheering the boys on. So hopefully it's a good result that you can catch up on after the birthday party. But when you do get a chance to come down, please do come and say hi. We'd love to see you on there as well. Donsdale said, any news getting Mr. Warren back on the show post-transfer window? Yes, Dale, it is in the works. Obviously, with all the things going on with Harrogate and everything else the club's been dealing with, that's kind of been the priority. But there is rumours. It's rumours. We are aware that hopefully in the next few weeks, more to come on that. So watch this space on that one. And Harry said, didn't see Aidan in the away end Saturday. Saw him in the home end though, wearing a Kilkenny shirt. I was in Germany watching my German team, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Harry. So unfortunately, I couldn't be there. But the Kilkenny shirt came when I got back this morning. So hence wearing it as I promised the Irish.
Very poor.
Not at all. Great because both
you missed the celebration of the
not
season.
Just that, Colin. I'll tell you some of the twist of fate. Guess what happened for my German club? We won in extra time with a penalty.
No.
And exactly the same time. There we go.
Wasn't Neil the CEO at Bolton when they named the stadium the Tough Sheep Stadium?
He was.
And they got absolutely ribbed by it because every time they lost, the opposing club and fans wrote Tough Sheep.
They did. They did. Anyway, look, we've got a few more things to go through, but I want to bring in our special guests. Now, we have got, obviously, Neil coming in to talk all things Harrogate, which we're really looking forward to. And again, thank you, Neil, for jumping on. We'll bring you in shortly. And also, a special guest to talk all things, not just Harrogate with the three of us as well, not just Walsall, not just Cambridge, but for the rest of the show, hopefully, as well. So I'll roll VT before we get to that, Cole, and see if I can bring them in.
Roll VT.
That's right. You thought Luke Payne was not available tonight because we didn't have the chat.
Hey!
He's turned up live. Luke Payne. I told you, Luke, this is a proliferation of talent.
I always thought it was a video recording.
Not at all. And he didn't bring his makeup artist. And Neil has joined us as well for all things Harrogate. So look, how good is this? Not just 3, not just 4, but 5. 5 guests.
Nothing wrong with your maths.
Exactly right. There we go. Anyway, Neil, look, first and foremost, we're going to talk all things Harrogate. And again, thank you so much for taking time out tonight to join us as well. Can you hear us okay, first and foremost? You're all good?
Absolutely fine, thank you.
Fantastic. Well, look, Neil, I suppose the best place to start is kind of how's things been for you? I mean, again, obviously the table things have been a bit difficult, but, how are you feeling after the last few weeks? Because there's been signs of a bit of positivity, a couple of results. So how are things looking from your perspective right now?
I think compared to a good few months ago, things now are totally top, buoyant, however you choose to describe it. I think we met back in, December? I think you smashed us 4-0, and that was kind of midway through our four and a half months of not winning a game. It was a particularly gloomy patch, and it's probably fair to say that any other manager whose dad wasn't the owner of the club would have been binned off long before. But
yeah, you mentioned that last time.
Yeah, well, I won't get into the nepotism part, but more to recent times. 6 games ago, we played Swindon Town at home, and we lost 1-0, which in itself isn't good. But something changed. Something on the park changed, where the performance was a lot better. You could see the players playing far more for the manager. And then since then, the 5 subsequent games, we've not lost. That's 5 games in a row without a loss, which for Harrogate Town, who are flat bottom of the league at the moment, that's something.
Yeah, you went bottom last night, didn't you?
We did. Good old Tranmere Rovers.
I don't know. We said this to you last time when you were on the show, but I still don't think you're going to go down.
I don't.
Well, I mean,
I know you laugh. I don't.
Well, I mean, I wish I shared your total optimism. I'm not writing this off completely because I think the trajectory we're on, having not lost in the last 5, is absolutely, it's a positive, and we're going in the right direction. And if you look some of the clubs down at the bottom, like particularly Barrow, who looked really poor.
Barrow look awful.
Look awful. We played them about 3 games ago, and they look dreadful. Crawley don't look particularly good. Tranmere don't look particularly good, although they do have the points on the board, Tranmere. So I take your points. I don't think it's written in stone that we're going to go down, but I think it's likely.
For me, you look at that form table of that bottom 5 or 6 teams, and like you say, on that, Neil, your form's picked up. You look at Barrow particularly, you look at Crawley in particularly. They are 2 clubs that are really, really struggling. Even Bristol Rovers, dare I say, and Tranmere until yesterday. So look, I'm with Colin. We're going to talk about a lot, at Don's around the run-in for us in terms of the top of the table. But I will say equally, there's still a lot of football to be played at the bottom end of the table as well. And say if your form continues in that vein, you're only a couple of points away from being through, even that 4 places up the table. So you've really closed that gap down, which has been really impressive to see. So I think, talking all things Harrogate at the moment, what are you putting that down to? Do you think someone spiked Simon Weaver's drink? Do you think that's down to the goal returns from, is it Muldoon or Duke McKenna? What do you think's been the secret there to that sort of turnaround in form for you?
I think there are a couple of things here. I think once you kind of break that cycle of losing, it brings confidence. And the first win we had was against high flying Cambridge, who I think.
Yeah, I know. What a win that was.
Hey, talk about doing you a favour.
We'll send a crate of beer up to you.
But I think they rocked up full of confidence and not took it for granted they were going to win. But there was a definite air about them, like they were something a bit special, and they got took to school. As simple as that. And
it wasn't a fluke, was it? I watched it. It wasn't a fluke.
No, bloody hell, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. 100%. And some of the draws we've had should have been wins as well. But in terms of the catalyst for why we've kind of turned this corner, there's probably a few different things at play. I'm sure there's a psychological angle of breaking that cycle of 4.5 months without a game. But on a very practical level, two things are existing players, our horrific injury record this year. Players started to come back. And secondly, the January transfer window that we had, we brought in a fair few players who now you might argue a lot of those players are going to walk straight into the first 11. So I think as a consequence of that, the new personnel, them starting to kind of assimilate into the team, get bedded in. We look a lot more of a confident outfit now. And perhaps striking aside, the striker, goal scoring element of the team, we look pretty robust and look a good unit.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I mean, I don't know. You might argue with this, but your passing game seems to have really sharpened up. I was looking at some of your percentages, your passing success earlier on in the season, and now it's up in the high 70s and low 80s.
Yeah.
Would you say that's a contributing factor? Well, I think it is, but I mean, would you agree?
I absolutely would agree. Yeah, I totally would agree. I think there's been a huge kind of mindset. But again, in terms of the personnel, I think he's kind of he's stood by of late this two holding midfielders. He's brought in a new lad from Wigan Athletic on loan, Tobias Brennan, kind of plays as a number 10. Ellis Taylor, who plays out on the right side, he's come back from a 3-month injury layoff. And the lad you just mentioned before, Stephen Duke McKenna's just come back from 3 months off injured as well. And he's
Muldoon's still out injured.
Muldoon's out injured for about 6 weeks. In fact, it might even be until the end of the season. But yeah,
Right.
and which
Not
is
hamstring, is it?
I think it is a hamstring, actually. Yeah, I think it is. But I mentioned it before. I think there's a lot of optimism. I think things are more buoyant now than they have been since the start of the season. The one area that still causes us all some concern is the centre forward role and our ability to score goals.
Luke, just want to bring you in on this, as again, Luke, you do the four. Forgive me now because you've changed it. League 2 lowdown, not 4-tier fee. Is that right?
League 2 lowdown, correct.
There we go. See, I remember. That's impressive, right? But I think, look, from your perspective, you talk all things League 2. So, like, from what you've seen and what the guys have talked about, in the podcast, where do you see Harrogate finishing this season? Do you think that upturn is going to be a critical factor for their running?
I mean, my instinct with Harrogate and that they will survive. I think injuries have played a huge part for them. They're probably the only team, I would say, that have had a worse crisis than us in terms of injuries. I think there was one game where you only had, 3 or 4 subs, something along those lines. So,
three subs, 2 were outfield players.
Yeah, exactly that. So it was a very rough position to be in. But the momentum's with you now. And it's just that the caliber of some of the opposition you're beating. You've ended Cambridge's 14-game unbeaten run. You did the same to Gillingham earlier in the season when they started the season very well. Obviously, played very well against Bromley, as already been mentioned. And you now have someone like Duke McKenna back, which is probably the main problem, is goals. You're the bottom scorers in the league, ultimately. And, he was injured since, early December? And he's come back now, and he's still the joint top scorer with 5 goals, as things stand. That's the sort of player that can win a game on his own. He does have that sort of star quality about him. I don't know if Don's fans will remember the 4-4 draw with Sutton on the final day of the season a good couple of seasons ago. He scored a brace in that game. He does have those sort of moments where he will just kick on. There'll be nothing you can really do about it. So although, as Don's, we're pretty good at stopping people from having shots from inside the box, he's one I'd be wary of. Okay, he might score from the edge, the way that Charles Vernon did when Grimsby came here. Something along those lines. But like I said, I think with those sorts of reinforcements, and you've now got someone like Mason Bennett back as well. I know his season's been heavily disrupted by a couple of injuries as well. But now you're starting to get these bodies back in attacking areas, combined with the momentum of the last few weeks. My instinct is that you'll survive. I think there are other teams that I'm much more concerned for, Barrow being one of them, because even the introduction of Dino Mameria has done nothing. Essentially, which kind of tells you how deep the problems are there. You've then got a side like Crawley, who I don't think have improved. Newport obviously just got a result the other day, but that's at the expense of Tranmere, who look like a total mess at the minute, and I don't think they're.
And Tranmere were down to 10 men.
That is true, and yeah, they seem to find new and interesting ways to lose Tranmere at the minute. It's just one of those. Seems embarrassed, to be fair. You look at their last couple of games against the Fleetwood one in particular, where they were 2-0 up, was certainly a way to lose. But yeah, my instinct is that Harrogate survive.
So, I mean, on that basis, G-Man, you know, obviously the game in December to the one we're coming into this weekend, obviously big crowd, big factor. But as always with Dons, nothing's ever easy. I'll be honest.
It won't be easy.
No, I'll be easy. I think, G-Man, for me, I'm nervous. I won't lie. Because the form's up to. What's your take on this game coming into the weekend?
So I think for me, I mean, if I don't know if you guys did see the latest video, I actually wasn't celebrating after that draw against Cambridge United, because even though it's important games, we did make it hard work for ourselves. And I think if you think about it, we've obviously Callum Patterson's out injured, and Walsall aside, since then we've squandered a lot of chances. We couldn't really hit the net against Crawley Town. It took a penalty right at the end to score against Cambridge United, and that's 2 in our last 3 games now. And actually, if you think about it, against Newport County, they gave us a real good game. After their goalkeeper mistake, he was excellent, and we couldn't find a way past him after that. And this isn't going to be an easy game, in my opinion. They're 5 unbeaten in the league now. I don't think this is the same Harrogate we face in December that we're going to be facing on Saturday. I think if we don't sort our finishing out, I am actually a bit worried for us about this game, even though we've got a lot of people that we don't normally get.
Oh, Neil, you must be sitting here loving this, Neil.
Frankly, I'm a little bit surprised that everyone is so like, we're not going to get relegated and it's going to be a tough game. Absolutely bonkers. You're all must be high as kites down there.
Mate, don't worry. I don't think like that. I think you'll stay up, but I'm not worried about a Saturday.
Okay, well, we'll see, won't we? Last time we had this conversation, you battered us 4-0 and you were absolutely bob on.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what I've got to say. I never saw any of it because it was so foggy.
It was, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, mate, we were winning 2-0 and I never saw either goal.
Well, yeah, I didn't either, but maybe that's a blessing.
Were you up the other end?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you only heard us shouting.
Well, yeah, I stand by the dugout. So to my right is your standing fans.
Right.
So and there was a fair few of them.
Right. Okay. Right. Can I, Neil? Obviously, you're more than aware. We're doing a community day, which we do every now and again. All your fans are getting into nothing. What's the uptake been like?
I checked. I think it was yesterday, and it said approaching 200.
Really?
So from memory, I think it said on the Harrogate website, you've got to have ordered them by Tuesday. So it's going to be on or around 200 or so, of which me and my son are 2 of them. We're coming down.
Good man. And you know how many's going to be there, don't you?
Well, I mean, I've read 15,000. I read 20,000 or 22,000. Sorry.
Yeah, it's up to 22 now.
22.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be a big event. I mean, did I hear right when I joined? Some people are complaining that they're giving out free tickets.
Yeah.
Why would you complain?
Because they think because some of our fans, only a few, I might add, are saying that we should have got a rebate, us season ticket holders, and basically the others are just complaining because we can do it.
Well, I don't know. It's bonkers. I mean, for me, and I'm a season ticket holder. If they did something like that at Harrogate, I'd be thinking good move, because it's going to introduce people to come to the game who don't necessarily ordinarily come, and that's going to be your lifeblood.
Yeah, indeed, I agree.
So good move, I think, and I'm very happy to be making the trip down with a free ticket. And to your other contributor who said World War III, selfishly, if they wanted to do that now, it's as good a time as any. Let's start the season afresh next year. Bring it on.
Well, Stephen said that he said I would take a 1-0. Can't see us scoring more against Harrogate, so that's interesting as well.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of. I mean, I'm the same. It's like, again, do I think we'll win? Again, we'll come on to that a little bit in a minute, Cole. But I honestly think, Neil, looking at the form, looking at the way, not just the fact that you've got points, but the way you've got points really shows a team that's starting to come back on the up. I honestly, at the start of this season, didn't see Harrogate being in trouble. I didn't think you'd be top, but I didn't think you'd be sort of going down or out the league. And I generally think there's at least 2 clubs worse than you, and you're so close to getting out of it. Again, that really makes this weekend a really interesting factor for me, because your team can know that if they walk out on that pitch at Stadium MK and at the end of the day walk away with 3 points, you're out of the bottom 3. That is a hell of a motivation going into.
And they've done it before.
Yep. And for us, if we get those 3 points, we could be up to second potentially. So there's a lot on this game. There is an awful lot. And again, with the crowd and everything else, it's going to make for a hell of a weekender, that's for sure.
You lot are all toying with my very fragile heart, and you're almost kind of stoking some kind of optimism that wasn't there pre this call. So, you know, you're good. You're good for the soul.
Well,
even though slightly delusional.
You can tell everybody on the coach on the way down. I was talking to the Dons fans on Wednesday night, and they're all scared shitless about Harrogate.
Exactly. Well, we're all big, rough, tough Northerners. That's why you're all scared of us, surely.
Well, hopefully we jinxed it now in Dons' favour.
Well, I'm just hoping G-Van's brother's not going to come, because I know he's the deciding factor here.
Oh no! Trust me, he's not been a stadium case for a while. He won't be coming on Saturday. But I will say something. Cambridge United was our first early kickoff since the Grimsby Town one, and in that game, just like Cambridge United, we drew, and then a week later we beat a team called Town, who we thrashed earlier in the season and who are now improving. So is that a sign that we can beat Harrogate Town on Saturday? Because I think,
do you know what?
We would all take that.
That's incredible, right? What did I say at the beginning of this, Cole? I said the guy's got talent. The guy knows what he's talking about. Look, G-Van's he's just got it. Bang. He's predicted it. I'm taking it. There we go. I'm fantastic.
What do you want to do? Predictions? Do you want to do predictions?
I mean, yeah. Neil.
When do you want to go, Neil? First, second, third, fourth, or fifth? When do you want to go? Do you want to go last?
I'll go first. Before we
get to that, Neil, how do you, from a Harrogate standpoint, see this game playing out as well? So not just the result, but what do you expect from this weekend?
Yeah, go on.
I kind of thought long and hard about these kind of questions that were going to crop up, and I thought when we played Bromley, we would be a lot more defensive than we actually were. And as you've already alluded to, I think we had hard lines not to walk away with 3 points against them.
Yeah.
However, that was at home. We are playing away. I want to say we've beaten you once in the league since we've been up. We're in the same league together. I think you've put
1-0 at our place.
Yeah, and I think you've put 5 past us a couple of times, and 4. So you've scored some goals against us, and I think that will have scarred Weaver. So despite how we've kind of set up against the Bromleys or the Cambridges, where we were kind of a little bit more offensive than I thought we were going to be, I think he's going to look to keep the momentum of not losing, but not necessarily winning. Right. So with that in mind, he'll play with 2 holding midfielders, and he may well relinquish the ball for huge chunks of the game. But all in all, I think we're not scoring. Our centre forward, who he's playing every single game since he's joined, Aqua, I think he must be on. He must be on about 11 or 12 league games he's played since joining from Dundee, and he's not scored a league goal. And when he was at Dundee, he played 13 games for them. Didn't score a goal for them either. So I don't know why he's sticking with him. I'd probably go for Bennett, although I don't think he will. So all things considered, I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Right, okay. Right, and what you people watching at home, if you could give us your predictions as well, and Aidan will flash them up on the screen. G-Van, go on, give us a score prediction.
Oh, it's going to be tough. They've scored some. They've not scored in other games, but they have scored in some of those games that they've been unbeaten in. But then we can also score as well. And I'm hoping Aaron Collins give us a boost. I'm hoping they equalise and give us a bit of a boost. I'm hoping the Wolves will win as well, given our unbeaten run of 10. I'm hoping we can be up for this, but we need to be at our best. Fingers crossed we can edge it out at 1-0 or 2-1. I can see it being a bit similar to that last time we played them at home when we scored right at the end. I can see it being similar to that, but fingers crossed the atmosphere will be there enough to push us forward and help us get a result. I'm going 2-1 with my heart.
Did you see that on the screen, Neil?
I did.
Yeah, 5-0 with 25,000 fans going crazy.
I'm not knocking it, but yeah, I mean, no. I'm not as optimistic, I'm afraid.
Go on, Lukey. Go on, give us your best shot.
This is an interesting one. I think it will depend entirely on the timing of the first goal. You know, if we score early the way we did against Newport, I think Harrogate are more likely to open up the Newport were more just down to lack of experience in the goalkeeper, Henry Gray. I think what kept Newport in that game was the fact that they had someone like Wright that's been around for a while and made a number of good saves, to be fair to him. However, if we don't score early, I think it gets interesting. And that's where I could see things being a lot tighter. My instinct is that we would still have the quality to get this one done. I'm probably going to go 2-1 Dons. I'm going to say Duke McKenna gets one, maybe even if it's just consolation.
Okay. Go on, Neil.
I was just going to jump in. It's just funny you should mention Henry Gray. So our former goalkeeper, Belly, who moved to Notts County, an experienced League Two goalkeeper, kept us in many a game and saved us many a point over the years. He's obviously gone. We've got a lad in on loan, Henry Gray from Ipswich. I wouldn't underestimate him. He's pulled off some blinders, and in his time with us since January, the world and his wife are well happy with him, and he looks like a good young goalkeeper.
Right, go on, Aidan.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I've been worried about this game most of this week already because, again, looking at the form, I know Neil's going to think I need to go into therapy for this, but this is typical Don's territory. It's on paper, it's an easy win because they're bottom of the league. No, I keep saying this every week. No win is easy, and particularly when you've got a bottom team because they are fighting for their lives, and it always makes it difficult. I think this is going to be a really, really tough game. I think it's going to be tight. I do think Harrogate will probably score first, but I can see us coming out 2-1 winners. But I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
You're all talking rubbish.
Thanks. Cheers. And also, I want to point out why G-Van's on here as well. Aaron hasn't been for a while. That's also coincided with us being relegated from League One and missing out on promotion from League Two. So, Aaron, you've got to come back.
Right, I'll totally agree. I think Harrogate are going to come in not to lose and try and set up not to lose. And I think we're going to be, like Neil said, they're going to concede a lot of ball to us. The longer this goes on at 0-0, as Luke said, the harder it gets. But I'm still taking us to win, and we're going to win with a clean sheet, and we're going to win 2-0.
Take that any day.
I know Harrogate are fighting. I know they've put a few results in. I know they're beating Cambridge. I get the feeling that them beating Cambridge has done us a favour because Warney could look across that team and said, look, you take these for mugs and they'll kick your ass. I don't think we're complacent at all. I'm sorry. I can't see anything other than the Dons win. Sorry.
You don't have to apologise if that's the way you feel. And you said it last time. You said we were going to get spanked last time and you spanked us. So
I said we love playing up at Harrogate. It's something to do with the Yorkshire moors and the air and the
Betty's tea room.
Betty's
tea room. And I said you get spanked up there. I was right about that. And I honestly, I can't see you getting past Sanders, Ekpateta, Nelson especially. And I got a feeling Mendes Lang is going to be back. We've got the added bonus of Collins not being out for the rest of the season and needing an operation. I think after Saturday, we're right up. We're not going to let it go now. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I said a lot of the ones coming through on the things either 2-1 or 2-0. So I think a lot of people.
I don't think Harrogate will score. There you go.
Well, we'll see on Saturday, Cole.
We will.
We will. We will.
And like my wife says, I'm never wrong.
Yeah, and if you are, refer back to point 1. Yeah, that's the one. Got it.
That's the one. Yeah, you got it.
No, good stuff. But honestly, look, Neil, as always, thank you so much for jumping on with us. Genuinely wish you well for the rest of the season. And I hope, come the end of the season, you think those guys at MK were nuts, but they were right. So there you go.
I can't think otherwise, can I? Really? Because absolutely mad as a box of frogs, the lot of you. But it's always been good fun, and you play good football, so you probably deserve the right to be promoted.
Yeah. Tell me. I mean, obviously, we deal with the MK Dons all the while. We're always watching. What is your opinion of the Dons and the team they've got and what have you?
In terms of how good the players are, or what the club's
well, not necessarily the club, but the team itself. Have you looked at MK Dons and thought, Christ, what a bloody team they've got?
In some respects, yes. I mean, Patterson scored goals, didn't he? Mendes Lang, I think he got injured pretty much the last time that we played each other in December. And I thought he might be more of a miss for you than he has been, because you're still in the mix, aren't you? Yeah. I think Jack Sanders has looked pretty special.
Yeah.
Orford, I mean, he's been there a while now. I think he does a good job for you as well. And Gilby, I think is the other one. I don't think you mentioned him. He always does it for me. I think he's a decent player.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think you've got a really good team, and you are with an amazing chance of being promoted. And I think it's more likely than not likely.
Well, we're all open, but like you said, we're as mad as a box of frogs.
I could have phrased that a lot worse, let me tell you.
Yeah, I got it. I believe you.
No, I really could have.
Right, well, Neil, thanks very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Obviously, we wish you all the best for the rest of the season, but probably not on Saturday.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I wish you no luck on Saturday. But when there's 200 of us in the away section, watch out for me. I'll be there.
Top man.
Good stuff, Neil.
I'm big up for you for coming down. I hope you enjoy your day, mate.
Yeah.
Top boys. Okay. Have a nice evening. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Neil.
Bye-bye.
As always, what a lovely guy.
He is a nice
lovely guy.
Yeah.
Neil, he's good. Talk sense, apart from he thinks he's more pessimistic about arrogant than we were. But, what can I say? Look, moving backwards, not moving forward. We'll come on to that. But moving backwards, we haven't done the review because Luke's now turned up. No makeup because he doesn't need it. Because G-Van, they'll both be on Sky Sports very shortly. The future of Sky Sports, everyone, is right here below me. The two of them. Anyway,
thank you.
You're always welcome, my friend. You're always welcome. I think, as I say, the G-Van, you brought that point up about Walsall and obviously against Cambridge. I think that it'd be probably an apt time to review both those games before we move into the Harrogate one. So I'll throw the ball over to you guys. I mean, G-Van, I guess start with.
Hang on a minute. Has he done a video?
Luke hasn't done a video. No, he's live.
Unbelievable.
Do you know what? Look, we rang his agent. We booked him on the show. Same as G-Van. They were due to be on Sky Sports tonight, Cole. Bit of humility. Come on. Go on.
Okay. Go on.
Anyway, so G-Van, talking about that Walsall game, what was your take on that? And then obviously Luke will come on to you and get your thoughts. But I'd love to get yours. I mean, I was there, and I'll say it was stressful, but exciting at the same time. But yeah, I mean, again, G-Van, over to you. What was your thoughts on that game, and how did you see it before the game versus how it played out?
So, to be honest, I actually was saying after the game, this could be one of our best victories of the season, because with Callum Patterson out and having watched us against Crawley just squander our chances, I really was worried. I thought this could be it now. This is do or die. And if we don't, and I could genuinely see us drawing 1-1, I think I put on my prediction. And I was thinking, this is it. We're going to struggle to win games now. So to dig deep and to get those 2 goals, I know the first one came from a mistake, but then the second goal, scrappy, and we just didn't stop until it went to the net. I thought fair play to the lads. They dug deep. They really went for it. They got a vital victory, and I was really hoping we'd kick on from that. But I'm still seeing more of the squandered chances since then. And I'm not going to lie, I am worried that if we don't sort it out, we're not going to get promoted. But that was a good win for us.
Yeah, I mean, on that, Jivan, how do you think again, injuries obviously aside, how do you think we get out of that? Is there things that you think that Warney should be doing around the team, the setup, the squad that's on the pitch?
I mean, look, I'm obviously no manager, I'm obviously no coach. I can't say exactly, but I think at the same time, there's, I think we just got to emphasize the fact that it is do or die. We're on a 10-game unbeaten run, and fair play. I remember after the Chesterfield draw, that moment I saw it was 2-2. I remember thinking it was over, and they've, and the reason I want to bring this up is I think since then they've dug deep and they've refused to lose. And I think the determination that we've shown in the last 10 games. I think
that's a very good point, J-Van, that we don't know when we're beaten, do we?
100%. I would completely agree with that. And, I think, like I said, I thought at that moment, I couldn't attend the game, but at that moment, I thought, that's it. We're not going to get automatics now. And we've got back in there, so fair play to them. And I think if we could just get some of that determination out even more, that's what we need to do, because we've got quality on there. I mean, Russell Murphy can score goals. Dan Crowley did well before coming here. Liam Kelly's a good player. I really like Craig McGillivray. Like I said in my first video, he's up there with David Martin for me. Refuses to concede. And even, I'm going to mention his name, probably going to get some stick for this, but even Scott Hogan has had his moments.
Oh, what? Game off.
And it's like, you carry on.
It's like, in all seriousness, we've got to find a way to get the best out of those fringe players. And I'm not too sure how we fully do that. But if we can get promoted automatically. If not, I think
you're right there. It's not just a case of some of the big players we've got. It's the bit part players that we need to step up to get those results, isn't it? I mean, we're in an amazing situation. Personally, we've probably got the best goalkeeper we've ever had. We've certainly got the best centre half we've ever had with Nelson, and we've certainly got the best striker. Some people say eyes on McLeod and Will Grigg and all things, but we've never had a player like Patterson up front. Never.
I think making number 13 look lucky.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think for me though, it's not just what he brings to the front line, but when he's been a utility right back at Shrewsbury, he's filled in different places. He's always stepped up. And he has always been outstanding for me.
Yeah, always.
And that makes him a special player.
He rarely has a bad game, does he? Rarely.
No.
So, I mean, Luke, what was your take on that Walsall game coming into it? And again, your thoughts on sort of how it played out?
I mean, initially, this was one I was quite nervy about until they played, a few days beforehand. And then we find out that their keeper's been given a straight red card. And that's kind of the moment I'm thinking, hold on a minute, that might be the stroke of luck we need. So obviously I had to use Sam Hornby instead of Miles Roberts. I mean, it was still always going to be a tricky game because defensively, they're a solid side. If you have someone like Aidan Flint, your defense is pretty much guaranteed to be pretty good at the very least. But in terms of our own defensive performance, we restricted them to no shots at all in the first half. We set the tone quite nicely. We weren't necessarily creating loads, but we did enough to give ourselves the opportunity to get the opener. And huge credit to John Mellish to win the ball in the position he did as well, especially after, the start of the game he had where he missed a good sort of 3 or 4 crosses and you just sat there thinking, oh no, what's going on here? Honestly, if that man could cross a ball.
Yeah, I know.
His work rate, though, is absolutely outstanding. And then obviously we worked it to Hepburn Murphy, and it was pretty much spot on with the finish. I was kind of thinking when he took that first touch, it's chance is gone, but now he managed to sort of curl it around them. And then from there, it's just doing what we can, close out the win. Yes, they had shots, a few of them, but I think they had 7 shots in the end. 6 of them were from outside the box. So only 3 on target overall. So we restricted them very, very well in that regard. And then when we got our opportunity to score the second, we took it. And yes, it's kind of a scrappy kind of set piece, but also a reasonable set piece side. So, to score one against them is pretty good going, especially when you consider that one of their centre-backs then went and scored another 2 in the next game. So, it's a side that I'm quite happy we were able to break down because I think they're tougher than their form suggested.
Yeah. Look, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
It was, I mean, I was very nervous about the Walsall game. Going very, very nervous. I mean, you know, you never know what you're going to get with Walsall. But I said in my preview that you may have read or anything, I hope we don't keep punting it long and high. But I think I saw something in that game that made me think that was still part of our plan, because we know Hepburn Murphy is not going to win against Aidan Flint. But from what I saw of that game, we stood off Aidan Flint and let him win it. We thought, yeah, go on, mate, you can win it, but we're going to pick up the second ball. And that seemed to be part of our plan against Walsall. You know, and for me thinking that's not, we shouldn't be doing that, I sort of went full circle and thought, what a brilliant idea. Let's not win the header, let's win the knockdown, you know. Yeah. Would you agree that was part of the plan?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we chucked an extra body into the midfield, didn't we? And
yeah,
it's such an important thing to be able to be good on second balls. Like, you know, whether you win the first contact at times can actually be irrelevant. Sometimes you just want your striker there just to be a nuisance. And yes, they might not win it, but you just want to give yourself the best opportunity to make sure that when the ball bounces, you have a runner there. You know, whether it's someone running in behind in case Murphy somehow does win it, or if it's just having someone running right into him, knowing that the ball's going to drop maybe closer than the defender wants it to. It's just being able to preempt that and sort of force those mistakes, which is something we were able to do in terms of our press, because that's how we got the first goal. But I'd say that you don't want to change the plan entirely. I think you do have to cater to what we have available at least a little bit, because I mean, with Hepburn Murphy, he's obviously not going to win all of them. And I mean, first half of the Cambridge game was a perfect example of him not winning all of them, because I think he struggled first half personally of that particular game. But I don't know. I think it's still worth doing. It's just as long as we have an awareness of the players we have at our disposal and we are prepared to try different things. Because when you have someone like Hepburn Murphy, sometimes all it will take is just one ball in behind. And again, look, using the Cambridge game as an example, to get his 1-on-1, that was just a ball from the back from Jack Sanders, where he's just seen a gap, knowing Hepburn Murphy can run into it, and he'll get there first just because of how rapid he is. You know, it's just having that versatility to play in multiple ways.
Yeah. So moving forward, then, you know, Cambridge. What was your perception of that game, and you know, what was your feelings going into it? What were your thoughts afterwards? And
yeah, I mean, this was one I was particularly sort of nervous about, because you know, coming into it, I'd kind of been hyping it up as, well, if anyone wins this, I'm backing them to get promoted eventually. I think that there was so much sort of riding on that game in terms of what it could potentially mean. You know, if they won it, they would have been 5 clear of us. If we'd won it, we'd have jumped up above them, been right up behind Bromley. So, you know, there was a lot at stake with that game. And to be fair, I was first half, I actually enjoyed our performance. I know we didn't get the goal, but we restricted them very well. And again, looking at it statistically, they had 2 shots, none on target first half. So we restricted them very, very well. So although it was kind of your typical Cambridge game, because this is kind of how they play at home, they don't necessarily create loads, but they will stop you from creating anything as well. They'll play for the moments, and they've been very good in those moments. They're very good at grinding out games. But we were able to, you know, fashion 2 decent chances. One obviously for Mellish, which again, purely due to his hard work, running straight through the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
And then the second one with Hepburn Murphy, that through ball from Sanders, which is a frustrating one for me, because I think that's the second time.
I'd have wished he'd took him off you.
Yeah, I think he should have just knocked it past him, keep running. That keeper is not going to catch you. I think he did the same thing against Colchester, I think it was, against Matt Macy, where I'm just thinking, if you tuck it past him, you're faster, you're going to get there first.
Yeah.
You could tell he didn't want to take that shot on his left foot, because he was just avoiding it, doing anything he could to sort of shape his body to be able to take it on his right. But if you're not confident in that position, then it makes even more sense. Just rather than trying to give yourself a really tricky angle on your right foot, just keep going. So you've got a really easy angle with your left foot that you just can't possibly miss. So it's a frustrating one in that regard. Second half, obviously, they started to create a bit more, but then so did we a little bit as well. It kind of felt like it was going to be one of those days after the Hepburn Murphy miss, but and even more so when they went and scored, which I don't know how I feel about the way they won the ball in the first place, if I'm being totally honest.
There was an element of doubt about that, whether it was a fair challenge or not, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not totally convinced. Sadly, all the replays kind of cut that bit off, so you don't.
Yeah,
really
I noticed that. Yeah.
But no, it was a fast break. They managed to break down the left, which was, I think, a potential problem between Sanders and Mellish, because obviously when Offord's been playing there, he steps higher up to cut off that lane entirely. Because Mellish likes to play quite high up.
But sometimes Mellish gets caught out of position with that, doesn't he?
He does. It's sometimes it is worth it because naturally you get another player up the pitch. If you win the ball, that's great. But if you don't, you're in a whole lot of trouble. And unfortunately, we just got caught. I think the lack of match practice between those two for that scenario was probably a little bit costly. Because obviously, usually you'd have Offered there, and he knows exactly what to do because he knows exactly what sort of player Mellish is. They've been playing together loads recently in those two positions. But we kept fighting, kept generating chances, tried to get ourselves back into it. And yes, element of luck in terms of winning the penalty, but you also make your own luck. And by testing the waters as much as we did, and obviously you have someone with ice in the veins in Aaron Collins, and what a moment that was. So
was it a penalty for you?
Yes. I'm not necessarily convinced, if I'm honest.
Well, Albie says no.
Yeah, no, not. Yeah, I'm not convinced, but I mean, we'll take it either way. It's one of those games I'd have absolutely taken the point beforehand, and even more so the nature of how we ended up with the point in the end. So yes, it's frustrating. We didn't take advantage of our first half chances and actually win the game. But I think the main thing with this game was just don't lose. Don't let Cambridge get 5 points ahead, because then it's just a huge uphill battle.
I mean, would you agree that with this statement that for them it must have felt? I mean, we've been in this position before and conceded late on. They must feel that felt like a loss, because it felt like a win to me.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, that's the mentality of competitive sport. You know, it's the fact we were able to get anything when your last minute of the game, you're thinking all hope's kind of lost at that point, and then suddenly you have this one moment, and suddenly you've got a point from nowhere.
Can I just say something?
There's 3 points, and suddenly they've only got one.
Can I just say something? Danny Carroll has just put it was a penalty from where he was, which was probably the car park.
Saying nothing. Givo, I mean, what was your take on the game on Saturday? I mean, again, it was I say winner takes all, but ironically, as Colin says, I think the way we got that goal at the death almost felt like a win, and psychologically, I think probably dented Cambridge a little bit. But again, what's your thoughts on it?
I think if it feels like a win to the squad, then that's the best way we could draw, because as I have touched upon, we need to be more clinical, and if we can go on the back of that, which feels like a win, then I genuinely think that we'll have that extra edge. I know we said earlier, how do we get the best out of the players? But at the same time, this is going to sound a bit maybe different to you guys, definitely, maybe a bit controversial. I didn't feel it was a win. Like after we equalised, I mean, I did actually think it was a penalty, because I do think he was fouled. I'll put it out there now. I definitely think it was a penalty, but we squandered a lot of chances, and I know not losing to Cambridge United can't be a bad thing, but if I was offered a point before the game, I wouldn't have taken it, because you don't know how Notts County and Swindon Town are going to perform. You don't want to drop out of the top three. Obviously, after they scored, I would have taken a point all day long, but for me, I'm just so worried about how we are in front of goal. We're not always going to win penalties, and if we play like that in front of goal and don't take our chances, it's just not going to happen for us. So I was actually more worried about that I actually wasn't celebrating afterwards.
Right. I mean, there's one thing I will say. this is going off at a bit of a tangent, I know, but there's a few teams, and Luke will probably be aware of this. There's a few teams that we've played twice that are just starting to come into a little bit of form, and they could really start stirring some of these. I mean, Grimsby, Chesterfield, to a lesser degree Shrewsbury, but they done us a good turn the other day. And I'm glad we've got some of these games out of the way. And I think a few of these teams are going to be doing us a favour. And if they're doing us a favour, we've got to do our bit as well.
Yeah,
like G-Van says, we've got to be clinical in front of goal and, let's do our bit and let the other teams around us, go and play the likes of Grimsby and Chesterfield and places like that. I wouldn't want to play them. So, who put was never a pen?
Jamie. Yeah, I mean, look, again, I'll be honest with you, Jamie. I was like, I don't know. I've watched it. It's for me. It's kind of it could be, it couldn't be. We got the luck, and I'll take it. And what I would say is you got to flip it the other way. How many times across the season have we had decisions against us?
Yeah,
you get these decisions.
And if it had happened in our box, mate, they'd have screamed the bloody stadium down.
Of course they would have done. Of course they would have done. So look, I mean, look, it was for one of. I'm the same as Javine. G-Van was saying there earlier. It's like you go into that game, and before that game, anything less than the win was not a statement of intent. Particularly with, Walsall, I thought we played well against a team who probably, if they'd have kept some of their loan players in January, that's what happens when you build your team on loans, would have probably been more of a threat, and probably wouldn't be where they are now. So I thought going into that game, we've got to get some daylight between us and them because it could.
And there is a gap forming now, isn't there?
And there is. So yeah, before the game, I felt that this was winnable. I didn't think it was going to be easy. Look, come on, Cambridge haven't lost at home for God knows how long. So to come away with anything is an achievement. You can't take away from that. But it does worry me a little bit from open play without the likes of Patterson. Obviously, Collins has just come back, and hopefully he starts to kick in a bit more now. You can't just be reliant on one or two players. There needs to be goals across the squad. And I mean, again, prime example, Coles, when we saw Kelly start taking shots from range a few games back and he popped one in, I would just like to see a little bit more of that at times.
Yeah, and Crowley, I can't understand why Crowley won't have a shot.
No, and like I say, I think we've got the players, they've got it in their locker to score from outside the box.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we just play it safe, and I get that, but sometimes you've got to take a bit of a risk.
Yeah.
And I think we've got the quality like Kelly, Gilby, Crowley, etc. Nemain, give it a shot from an angle, catch the keeper off his line, whatever. Just cause them a bit of an issue to think about, unsettle them. And again, it's not just the goals; it's the psychology that goes with that. If you're unsettling the team, it's going to start making them think, and when they're starting to think, they'll start to make mistakes. And I think sometimes we just play it a little too safe. And if we were looking to go up, we just need to start generating a threat from outside the box a bit more. That's just
I agree. Can't argue with that.
I agree.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Hold on.
Moving on.
So Danny's just come up with a comment. He said, my biggest worry is our defending from corners and how many corners we've. I completely agree with that, Danny.
Yeah.
Going back to
we give silly free kicks, don't we?
Yeah, well, it's every time we get a corner come into the box, I worry, and I shouldn't have to. But set pieces has been a challenge for us. We saw it against Chesterfield.
Yeah.
And that was a killer, particularly Will Grigg. I'm never forgiving you for that celebration at the end of the game.
No.
Really poor in front of the home end, particularly after all of the goodwill in the bank you had from us. It's shithousery. Some people get it. I get it. But I still think it was very classy for a guy that should have known better after his time with us. Anyway, I think moving into the Harrogate game on the weekend, like I said, it's going to be a difficult game. And I think down to that point I think that's a game where you can take chances from outside the box. I think, they're not the strongest team. If you start making them think, start trying to catch their keeper, start trying to put a bit of pressure, and maybe a high press or even a low block potential. I just feel like we've got to take the game to them. We can't just walk out on that pitch and just think they're bottom of the league, we're going to come away with something. And I don't think we will.
No,
I think we need to be on the front foot from minute one on that game, put the pressure straight on them. Because I think if we do and we score early, that's the tipping point for me. If we don't and they get us, and when I say they score first in my head, it's because I just think sucker punch. We've seen it this season.
Yeah.
push.
Yeah, but as Don's fans, this mentality has been honed by years of the worst happening, hasn't it? And I think it's harder for us to get out of this mentality, and we think, look, calm down, it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? I think it's harder now than it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, Lou just raised the point. He said last year Gilby scored loads at the start of the season, and those goals have dried up. Absolutely. The midfield, and they're a good midfield, and I will not criticise them, but they do need to start contributing more to the goal side of things. I think that for me is the difference between a side that goes up and goes up well, and a side that could be taking it to the last day of the season. It could be that small difference can make a huge impact. But no, I mean, it's a difficult one, Cole. It's a difficult one, but I think, looking at, what G-Man said, what Luke said, there is a lot of quality in that squad. There's a lot of quality coming back. It just concerns me that at the business end of the season, that this is where we need to start doing something a little bit more. And again, teams find out, that you get found out after a while playing a certain way, doing certain things. We've seen.
And I think Bromley have, haven't they?
They have, exactly my point. And what do we now do? What have we got in our locker when we do get to a situation where it's difficult? What do we do to change that? The likes of a Crowley, etc., etc. To G-Van's point, the likes of a Hogan, the likes of a Lecco. How do you start getting the best out of them? Do you? And I'll put my thoughts about Hogan personally to one side, but then do you get the likes of a Crowley and a 10, and then get Hogan to give him that service? Because these players seem to come on as subs, but the system doesn't seem to suit them or doesn't seem to change to get the best out of them. And I mean, that's something I just think is that's a sign of a good team. People come on, systems change, format, and I haven't seen enough of that personally. I think we're really good at what we do, but how do we do it differently when we do come up against these teams and we just get?
And we will sooner or later.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, we're just sort of finding a way of getting that result, aren't we?
We are.
But that is a sign of a good team as well, I think.
It is. Don't get me wrong. There's loads of positives we can take, and I think G-Van mentioned it as well around the Cambridge game. Luke's touched on it as well, but there's the mentality at the end of the game. It wasn't just the fact that we got a point, which I guess frustrating, but we'd have taken it. But it's the way we've taken it. It's the response of the likes of Collins and the team to that that gives me like, hold on a second. This we knew it anyway, but to see it. Do you know what I mean? It's they really want this, and that's something that
I think we're made of stronger stuff now, aren't we? We really are.
Yeah, and I think that's that type of mentality coming out of that game and almost feeling like a win, given the situation after the end of the game, taking that into the rest of the season. If I'm warning, I'm like, remember how that felt at the end of that Cambridge game. Remember what you did to grind it back from the death. Yeah. Look where we are. Get out there and use that and keep pushing and keep fighting for each other. Yeah. That's the thing I want to see. I want to see a lot more because we've seen at the start of the season we go one down and it was a bit of a negative response. Okay, we overcame some of that. We tried to change the system. 4-4-2 is definitely not our system this season, as Luke will attest to, and probably G-Van as well. But again, that's my point, is if we do switch to a 4-4-2 in the future, how do we know we can play that with confidence? That's the bit that's missing for me at the moment is we're good at what we do. I just don't want us getting found out at the business end of the season and then suddenly it becomes a grind. That's my only concern, really.
I wonder if our hand is almost going to be forced just by the current, sort of availability of the strikers, because the two that we've got available that the fans would want to see, Hepburn, Murphy, and Collins, neither of those are physical in any way, shape, or form, and I don't think they'll debate that at all. So you are going to have to adapt at least a little bit, and obviously we initially did that by swapping to the whole sort of 3-4-2-1 kind of system, having the extra man in midfield. Whether we'll shift back now that we've got Collins and go back to the 5-3-2 and just change it so it works with both of them, I'm not sure. You've then also got the option of someone like a Hogan who is physical. I'll give him that credit at least, and he is able to play that way. But it's definitely going to force our hand in that regard.
Choke.
Not so. I generally have a cold, Luke. It wasn't about that. So I'm trying to be ultra fair with Hogan in the fact of look, or any player for that matter. Lecco is an example. when there are injuries in a squad, you may not be first pick when there's a fully fit squad. It's about that mentality. And for me, what's let me down with him is we know he walked out of training, allegedly, but we know he walked out of training.
See now what you've done.
Hogan, a few weeks ago.
But, yeah. When? A few weeks ago, did you say?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, walked out of training.
And to me, look, this is the whole point. You have been given an opportunity. Okay, through injury, you might be frustrated that you are not playing. That's the time to grasp that opportunity with both hands in a positive way and show people what you're about. Not mope about it. So I think that's the challenge.
Thanks, Luke.
No, not at all. But that's the challenge for me is, has he got the ability? Probably, but the mentality's got to go with it. And if you've not got the mentality because you feel that you deserve to be there, that's fine. Go and prove me wrong. Go and prove everyone wrong and bang them in for the rest of the season. And I'll shake your hand at the end of the season.
Right, moving on.
No, but at the moment, it's like, how do you get the best out of those players?
I know.
Yeah.
Is it possible to bring Graham Alexander for Jonathan Leckett? Because I feel like Jonathan Leckett is best. His best spell with Graham Alexander in charge. He scored a few goals then. Is it possible for any of that?
You say, I generally think, and I've been thinking this all season, I'm glad you've raised that. I think he'll end up at Bradford at the end of the season.
You two carry on talking. Me and Luke will have a chat.
There we go. It's fine. I generally think free transfer at Bradford. I can see it happening. I'm telling you now. And he'd probably do really well for their system.
Well, that would be ironic, wouldn't it?
Anyway. Before we go into the Gillingham game, player of the month for February, we've got four of us on here, two esteemed guests. They know what they're talking about, probably more than we do, Cole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's again a few people have been putting up comments and a few names, which have been names that have been flirting around.
Put your player of the month up. Send it in.
Yeah, let us know. But I'm gonna put you all on the spot and see who do you think's gonna be your player of the month, and I'm gonna start Luke with you. Who's been your player of February?
Oh, that's a tricky call this
month. Is,
right? I'm glad you never asked me first. I need time to think about it.
Yeah, straight onto the spot, right? Well, I think the first thing to consider is the fact that the clean sheets have come back for a while. I know obviously Cambridge wasn't one, but before that we had 3 in a row, which immediately makes me lean towards the defenders. Even more so when one of them has made such incredible difference. Obviously started the move for our equaliser against Cambridge. Scored in one of the other games this month as well. His name was just there. My instinct would say Curtis Nelson. I think the impact he has on this team is obviously really positive. And even just the way he clears danger, just watching him head the ball clear is satisfying enough. Honestly, like it's just incredible to watch. But no, I think having someone like that in the middle of our defense has been a huge help. And yeah, I think it's even starting to get the best out of players like a Marvek Viteta as well, who I think has certainly improved in terms of his confidence as well. I mean, we even saw him cross the ball against Cambridge. That's unheard of for him. He would never do that normally. And actually, it was a very good ball because that was the chance that Tomlinson should have done more with. So yeah, my instinct would be Nelson.
Well, can I go next? Can I go next? There's a lot of people putting up Big Marv. My only question mark about Big Marv is I always feel he's got a bit of a mistake in him, but he's been pretty flawless in the last month. But I've got to agree with Luke. I used to love Pato until he got injured. I just used to watch Pato and laugh about his little. What he did in the game, like a little elbow, little push, talking to the defenders, just generally pissing people off with his total attitude. I'm like Luke. I love watching the ball goes over the top and I go, Nelson. And what's probably tipped me over the edge was those throw-ins on Saturday. Where did they came from? They're longer than Patterson's, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mate, we are so lucky to have someone like him. And I worry that if we don't go up this season, I think, well, I mean, I know the owners probably won't want to sell at any price, but I worry if we don't go up, somebody might come for him, and that'll be a tragic loss.
And Sanders.
Yeah, well,
well, someone did try coming for him in January, but it's
Yeah.
rumours to be believed anyway.
Yeah.
But okay,
I'll go for Nelson as well.
nothing else. Jivan, what's your thoughts?
You know what? I was initially thinking Craig McGillivray because from what I've seen over the last few games, he's determined not to concede. But then saying that, I feel like he saved Cambridge's initial shot and then couldn't really get back up and then save it again. So maybe just on that, maybe I might have to say Curtis Nelson or Craig McGillivray or maybe even Liam Kelly.
Well, come on, you only get one vote.
Nah,
no. Listen, Jivan, you talk it out.
I've had to think about this. I would say they've been our best three players. I was initially going to say Craig, but I'm going to go for, on balance, Curtis Nelson, because I think he has been a breath of fresh air since he's come in. And I also want to say, just on the defensive side of things as well, this could be the first season this is odds on now to be the first season in 4 where we're finally not going to concede 60 plus goals as well. And I just want to say, big credit to Paul Warne for that as well. I think it's just coming to my head now. I think fair play to him, and this is just what we've needed for years.
What if you don't go up, Colin? We will go up. I hope he gets his promotion. Well, I've got my cigar up here as well. That's waiting. Promotion cigar.
4 years it's been in that drawer. 4 long years.
So anyway, we got three votes for Curtis Nelson at the moment.
Three.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
So whatever you say is irrelevant.
Well, there you go. I'll stay quiet, Cole. It's fine. No problem.
Go on, go for it.
No, look, the names that have been flashing up have been going through my head. I mean, look, you can make a case for any of them. I think for me, special mention does go to Big Marv. I think the fact that Sanders is out, obviously with child and injury, inverted commas, whatever you want to call it. For him to come back in, step up, score goals. Generally joking around with people in the stands a few weeks ago, I said, if we got a striker crisis, stick Big Marv up front.
Yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we, last week?
I really like the guy. I think he is, and again, the opposite of the Hogan conundrum of he has stepped up, he has embraced his opportunity to get back into the team and shown what his worth is.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I've been really impressed with Big Marv.
I think he's one of the signings of the season.
I do. Curtis Nelson, for me, since minute 1 walking in at Aki, just looked like he'd always been in the team. He is like Patterson for me. He is far too good for this league.
He's the best centre-half we've ever had, I reckon.
Yeah, but to me, it shows Nelson. It's almost an embarrassment to have him in League 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He is such a for me, a differentiator between staying in games, winning games, the intelligence on the ball, the leading from the back. And I think he's made a massive impact on that defence. And also Big Marv coming back in with his presence, I think has added value to that. So he's another one. Saying Craig's another one for me as well, because I just think he's been immense in some games. I mean, I can't remember, it was a couple of weeks ago where he almost got it from like a dead on. It was like the hand just stopped it going in. I think that was Newport from memory.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, late on against Newport.
Yeah, and I just sat and thought, bloody hell, how has he got to that? To that? Given the fact that we got a new keeper in January as well, the pressure that brings, and to still sit there and consistently do it. I mean, I can make a case for a few more, but they're the 3 that have really stuck in my head. And I mean, Nelson's going to be player of the season, I think. Honestly, Cole, I think him and Patterson.
Yeah, quite ironic, really. Coming in January, he's probably going to end up player of the season.
Him or Patterson, I think, will be player of the season. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with Big Marv for February, because I think the fact that he's come on, made a difference, scored goals, and stepped up in a very, very strong team when everyone thought now Nelson and Sanders are there, he's probably going to be sitting on the bench warming it. He's caused headaches, and I think I applaud the man for it.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to have him in the squad, to be honest.
We've been absolutely blessed this season, haven't we?
We have.
Big Marv, Nelson, Sanders, and let's not forget one of the biggest unsung heroes in this team, Offord.
Yeah.
He doesn't get much of a mention, but my God, that is some statement, Colin. Well,
and let's say, so Luke said another Hepburn Murphy goes to Benoit's, was also been excellent. His work, Benoit's Excuse me, it has been excellent. I completely agree. Work rate is crazy. I don't know if anyone else saw him with a slight limp against Cambridge. He just seems to work hard. Yeah, I think
we did notice that.
Very much so, very much so. But look, I could have gone Nelson very easily, but I think he's going to be in it every month and probably win it. Maybe Big Marv won't. And I just think for what he's done and proved when he's been frozen out the team a little bit, that's a sort of mentality and that's a sort of response I want to see from players on the bench. And again, big well done, big man. I think you've been phenomenal.
Right, okay. I'm just going to read a few scores out if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Man City 2, Nottingham Forest 2, Fulham 0, West Ham 1, Brighton 0, Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 4, Newcastle 1, Man United 1, and Newcastle have had a man sent off.
Wow.
And their latest scores. Okay.
Well, I mean, say if I was Eddie Howe, I'd be a bit worried at the moment. There you go, Luke or Giovanni could end up managing Newcastle United at the end of the night. By the way, it's going.
Yeah. Right, where are we going now? Where are we going now? Where are we going?
Gillingham. So look, Luke, I know we haven't got a Gillingham guest tonight. Unfortunately, family emergency has happened. So as our League Two lowdown expert here, and probably haven't seen more of Gillingham recently than probably all the three of us have done. What's your take on this game? I mean, people are saying, "Oh, it'll be an easy 3 points for Dons." Every time we've gone to Gillingham, I have been nothing but frustrated, nervous, or this is going to be one of those nights. So, do you see this playing out any differently? What's your kind of prognosis?
I mean, I would expect this to be a narrow one, purely just from our history of going there and not particularly having much luck, but also the fact it's still an Ainsworth team. You've got to remember that they're going to be set up in a way that's going to be, very physical for a start. I know they're perhaps not as physical as previous Ainsworth teams because they physically can't be, because they've got the likes of Bradley Dack to work with, and there's no point trying to tell him to play physical because obviously he's just a very good technician. Consistency has kind of been the main problem with them, and nothing shows that better than the league table. Their current stats for that: they've played 33 games, won 11, drawn 11, and lost 11, scoring 41 goals and conceding 41 goals. So they are literally bang in the middle.
What you're trying to tell me is they are the Jedi Knight of League Two. Perfect balance.
Yeah, exactly that.
It's mad. It's mad stats.
As we've put it on League Two lowdown, consistently inconsistent, and that is Gillingham in a nutshell, pretty much. I was having a look at their scorers, and their strikers don't really do much scoring. If we're being honest, it's the midfield you need to worry about. So that's kind of going to be the key battle there. Again, I've already mentioned someone like Bradley Dack. You've then got Armani Little, who won't be very popular using his previous clubs. And then I think their third top goal scorer with 4 goals is Robbie McKenzie. So they're not going to be, it's not going to be the prettiest game of football. Put it that way.
I mean, they have beaten some good teams, haven't they? Crewe, Chesterfield, Walsall, Notts County, but but that is a little bit misleading, isn't it? Because those results were back in August and September, weren't they?
Where they started very, very well. I mean, I
think we tipped them, didn't we? Early,
yeah.
Aidan, me and you were saying they could be one of the teams.
They were early front runners, and as I mentioned earlier, actually, it was Harrogate that broke their streak, and then Ainsworth disappeared, needing an op, and then they just never found their mojo again after that. I mean, their recent games, I mean, they won the last one, but that was against Barrow, so that does nothing to convince me based on the way Barrow are playing currently. 3-0 loss to Oldham, not great. Oldham don't score that many. 1-0 to Chesterfield isn't too bad. 1-0 to Crewe isn't too bad, but they just don't have that sort of firepower about them. Like they're able to make games competitive, but they're not able to sort of take charge of a game and really control a game in the way that we have done at times this season. Although I don't think this will be a game we are able to. I think the physical battle will be interesting for us. This is going to be one of those games I think we'll really have to grind out. I can see it being a very narrow scoreline. I don't see there being many goals in it, if I'm being totally honest.
You don't see many goals.
I don't see many goals in this game at all.
Right.
So with that in mind, G-Van, obviously we've talked about firepower up front for us. How are you seeing this, given what Luke's just said?
I mean, I would agree with a lot of what he said, but at the same time, I think there's some other things we need to consider. There's a reason they went on the 21-game unbeaten run, and it shows they're not to be taken lightly. I think also, as Danny was mentioning on the comments, we only just beat them in the end, even though we were 3 up initially. In the end, it was quite a nervy finish. So they are capable of something. And actually, another thing I was thinking about is it's been 8 seasons since we last did the double over them, and that in itself tells a story. But they're not like we say, they've not been in the best of runs to beat Barrow, so that could be some confidence boosting for them. I think it depends on how Saturday goes. But before that, 3 losses in a row. There was 3-0 to Oldham Athletic, and it just feels like they're in just a real ruts at the same time. So hopefully they can continue that against us, but it's going to be tough. But just something else I always just want to mention, if that's okay with you guys, just something that I've been thinking about, no one's really sort of mentioned this, is that with a couple of games in quick succession, and given sort of the date as well, given it's kind of March the 9th coming up, and we all know who George Border would have turned 33 that day.
Yeah.
I do just want to just mention him in this, and I hope that, Paul Bourne can bring that home to the players as well, and maybe just use that as a bit of extra motivation. Obviously, nobody saw what was going to happen with him, but I want the players to win these next 2 games for George Baldock and also for Gary Stanley.
It's a really nice thought.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. And to that point, the games room when I went to the game I went to in my Club Platinum. The room is called the George Baldock room that they actually use. So that's really, really nice touch as well. And the players decided to name the room that. So really nice touch. But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if the Stars are going to align for this weekend and for that game, in memory of those 2 as well, it would be a lovely thing to see. 100%. And also, if we come out of the next 2 games with maximum points and a few of the teams around us slip up or draw, could make a massive difference to our automatic, promotion.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you, G-Van. I mean, it's 8. Say that the amount of seasons that we haven't had back-to-backs. I'll be honest, playing Gillingham. They are a horrible team to play. No disrespect to anyone who's a Gillingham fan watching tonight. I know a few of you do. I mean that in the fact that it's just a horrible place to go. It's horrible. It's hard. No team has an easy game at Gillingham. I think Luke's point of the Ainsworth factor is almost like I wouldn't say an ex-manager derby, but that Wickham connection. He's going to fire them up. He's going to play.
Well, former Wimbledon player as well.
He's going to play shithousery football. It's going to be dives, kicking at lumps out of. You can see all of the stuff and he knows.
Rock and roll football.
Yeah, it's the leather trousers on the touchline's enough to put anyone off their dinner.
Is that what he went in hospital for, to get his leather trousers off? Or was it his crocodile boots?
No, he went in for heart surgery, Cole.
Right. Okay.
We wished him well at the time, and I'm glad that
we did. Sorry about that.
I'm glad he's recovered as well, as much as there's a rivalry there. But I think that's the added spice here for me is Ainsworth is that, I suppose, unquantifiable factor if they're in a rut, but it's like the Scott Lindsay effect. It's a Gareth Ainsworth effect. It means if I'm going to stop anyone from getting promoted, boys, this is the team we need to stop. This is the team we need to beat.
Well, it's us against the world, isn't it? We know that.
Yeah. And I think that is the unquantifiable factor, if you like, for me. Is it was going to be a tough game anyway with Ainsworth there. It's just going to be a dirty game of football. It's never enjoyable. And I just hope that I think Warney will be telling them that anyway. But I think I just don't want us to go to that game and sink to the same level of football that they end up playing, and then it changes our game. We need to impose ourselves on that game very, very early if we want to get something out of that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Is that it?
Your thoughts, Cole?
I agree with you. I've never liked playing Gillingham. I'm still scarred when we walked out of there on everybody with the orange balloons and orange hats and all the rest of it. And we lost 2-0. And walking back to the car park, we heard, I can't remember who it was. Was it Burton Albion or someone had scored or something, a late goal, and it got us back into the playoff situation? And yeah, so I don't know. I think Luke, you might be able to help me with this. I think the Gillingham guy that was going to originally came on said we won't have an easier game all season. Was that right?
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm glad you turned Luke round because I can now read his
I can
app.
see he's struggling, so I just changed it around. I just realised that.
Well, I mean, one thing, we've said this countless times. We are everybody's cup final. Everybody wants to beat us, regardless of the situation. It is us against the world. And we've got to be prepared for these people that are going to be trying to stop us getting promoted, because the football world will not be happy unless we get stopped.
Yeah.
We've just got to be bigger, better, quicker, harder, faster, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. But it makes all the sweeter.
I'll get an early prediction, and I think we'll beat Gillingham. And I can see 6 points.
Yeah, I can.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. And let's do it for those guys as well.
100%.
Yeah. I don't know quite. I haven't quite decided on what the score will be, but like I've often said before, I don't care how we win, so long as we win.
Yeah.
Lukey, what do you reckon?
Well, I'm gonna.
You probably know more about these teams than we do.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick true to what I was saying earlier. I do think it will be low scoring. I was just kind of having a scroll through some of their previous sort of squad lists. They seem to be sort of flicking between a 5-3-2 and a 4-2-3-1. So that immediately makes me think they're gonna try and match us and go back five. And then there are certainly individual battles in there I'm looking at and thinking could be quite interesting. I'm looking at Omar Beckles and thinking, how are we going to deal with him at the back for them? He was obviously doing quite well for Leyton Orient a season or two back. And again, how do we deal with him at corners, both at our end and at the other end? Are we going to have Curtis Nelson on it maybe? That looks to be a really interesting battle potentially. I'd like to think we could grind this one out. My instinct was going to be draw, but they haven't actually drawn a game in 2026 yet. So I'm going to back us to win. I'm going to say it's a 1-0.
Right. Okay. G-Van, what do you reckon?
I think, to be honest, I think ultimately Saturday's going to play a big part in terms of both the sides' confidence and how they're going to approach the game. There is a part of me that can see it being a draw. I think given our form and given how we are in terms of how we're playing as well, because I feel like a lot of our wins we've had to grind out. Maybe they could play on that. But then there's also a part of me that thinks maybe it's just my heart, but maybe we could win this 1-0 or 2-1 or something. And hopefully we do. And last time we did the double over Gillingham, we did change leagues between leagues 1 and 2. So I hope we can do the same thing this season, but that's certainly my heart talking.
Right. Yeah. You seem, I mean, we all do, I know, G, but you seem to be really bloody nervous about us going up. Or, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we all are. I was a bloody mess.
Yeah.
I was a bloody mess against Walsall, and the bloody relief when that second goal went in. But, I never felt nervous against Cambridge. I really didn't. I don't know why.
I think, I felt nervous in some of the games. There are some games that I've been relieved we didn't lose. I just feel like, for me, and I don't know what you guys were saying this, but does every game just feel like a must win, given our current situation?
At this point in the stage,
Well, yeah.
100%. But it's that thing, right? We've all been there. No one would think that Colin and I are both 21 after the pain of stress that this FK Dons. I joke, of course, but
I don't know. This season's age.
Exactly, it's aged me horribly as well. But it's that whole thing. Like, we've all been there. We know Dons do Dons things. Is probably the nicest way to put it.
But do they?
Not so much this season, but I don't want to jinx it. But what I would say is, historically, we've been through the ringer so many times in the so close or the sudden drop off or so. So
I'm still emotionally scarred from Crawley.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yeah, I hear that. I still want a refund from that.
Yeah. But it's almost like that football PTSD that we've all suffered over the years that still brings to the fore, even when things are going well. You're almost thinking,
when's it going to happen?
Yeah, exactly. But no, I'm with.
And this is such a game, really, on Saturday, isn't it? really, when you look at it like that.
I think if we win against Harrogate, I think we'll win against Gillingham. If we don't win against Harrogate, I can see a draw. It's like, right, I think confidence breeds confidence ultimately. But
I feel very much like the season we went up to the Championship. We went to Port Vale. I think we drew. Then we won the next 10, and then we won the next 10. And I went to every single game, home and away. I think one of them was up in Fleetwood and everything like that. But I never doubted for 1 second that we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And if you remember, Aidan, I said to you at Accrington, I said, if we win today, we're going up.
Yeah, you did.
And I still think we're going up.
No, I do. But like I say, there's part of me that just thinks there's always that twist in the tail. And there's a lot more football to be played. And I'm sure there'll be a few snakes and ladders as we go along, Cole.
Could I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Did you think Neil Hart's comments were a little bit surprising when he said it's critical that we get promoted?
Yeah, I mean,
critical was a strange word, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of alludes to things that are unsaid, doesn't it? I think we touched on this tonight. Players' contracts from the end of the season. How do you retain that quality if we're still in League Two? Is it another rebuild? Do we start again? Does Paul Warne suddenly think, I've been offered a job higher up the league? There's all of these things, the financial side. So, in terms of what he's saying without saying it, I think that's a lot of the things in my head that it alludes to when he talks about it's critical. Because I think if we don't go up, it's an interesting one. If I don't want to jinx things, if we got to a situation where whatever reason this season we didn't go up, if we retain the squad we've got and built on it in the summer, I think we'd be up by Christmas next year. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I just think that we would be so far ahead of the league next season that it would just be a cheat code, to be quite honest. But I don't want to get to that. I'd rather have the stress of ending up third at the end of the season, the last day. So,
have you tell me, you boys? Have you? Open to all of you. Have you looked at what potentially next season, in terms of fixtures, could be?
I'm just more focusing on this season, to be honest.
Well, come on, I want you to look forward. I looked at it and I thought we could be playing Cambridge, Luton, Northampton, AFC, Wickham, Peterborough. I mean, it could be mental.
Actually, Leicester or West Brom coming down from the Championship.
Both.
Could be
potentially.
Could be. I mean, we don't want to upset G. He's already nervous enough as it is. But that's the potential.
Yeah.
That could be the shortest travelling season of all time.
I predict it now, Cole. If we go up and Leicester go down, we did a double over the former Premier League winners, and Jamie Vardy won't be the one having a party. We will be at the end of the season.
I would seriously love to believe they did as well.
I seriously do believe this. If we can go up this year, I wouldn't write us off at all for next year.
No, I think we'd do a double bounce. I honestly do. I think if you can get out of League Two, which I think is harder than League One, personally.
Yeah.
But again, maybe I'm getting carried away.
Hello, G's gone.
Hello?
No, you're good. You're good, G-Man. You're still here. So
I think my connection went for a second.
Yeah. It was the thought of going up to League One. It just it went into fright, right? It went into fright.
So I think, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope so. And again, look, there's going to be a lot more football before the end of the season. We all know. But I think that before we go on to our community day and thoughts and feedback, it's time for a bit of team talk, Cole.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean it's time for me to go to the loo?
Time for your toilet break. You've got 8 minutes of gold. By the way, I will say it's worth a watch. And again, thank you to Ryan and his special guest, as Chris has been calling.
Well, I'll sit around for a cut. I'll sit around for a minute, then I better go. So, roll VT.
Hello and welcome back to Team Talk. Chris is unfortunately under the weather and couldn't record episode 15, but don't worry, I've drafted in a top signing to keep things firing. Callum is in the building. Coming up, Callum brings you the very latest injury news and breaks down all the key moments from the Warsaw and the Cambridge game. I'll be diving into the lineups, and yes, I designed the graphic myself. Might not quite match Chris's usual standards, but we're giving it a go. I also be looking ahead to the big Harrogate clash, giving you my thoughts on the game and the lineup I think we should go with. There's plenty to get stuck into, so strap yourselves in and let's get this show started.
Going into our clash with Warsaw FC on Monday night felt like a golden opportunity. With us being the only team playing, there was pressure, but in the good kind. The kind where you know a win sends a statement and fires you straight to the top three. And what a statement it was. So from the whistle, we were sharp, confident and completely in control. The breakthrough came round in the 30th minute and it was pure quality. John Mesh read the play brilliantly, intercepting the ball with a perfect timing before feeding Alex Gilby, who slid it through for Rushton Hepburn Murphy to coolly finish it and making it 1-0, and the away end erupted. So Mellish doesn't always get the spotlight he deserves, but this was his night. He was everywhere, breaking up play, driving forward, leading by example. He was just on point during that game. And in the second half, he made sure of it. After another dominant spell, Mellish finally got the goal his performance deserved, powering home to make it 2-0 and putting the game beyond doubt. It was the perfect reward for an immense display. In the full-time whistle, 3 points, third place secured, and Monday night that could define the season. If we played like that from here on out, the sky's the limit.
Here are the lineups. Craig McGillivray in goal. Back four of Jones, Ekitepa, Nelson and Offord. Liam Kelly and Dan Crowley as the CDMs. And then a midfield three of Wiles, Gilby and Mellish. And Hepburn Murphy being the lone striker.
So the Cambridge game was one of the biggest moments of our season. Third versus second in League Two with everything on the line. Now if we won, we clinched third place. The stakes could not have been higher. From the first whistle, it was actually electric. It really was a game of two ends with end-to-end action. Chances flying in, tackles crunching in, and neither side willing to back down. Every attack felt dangerous and clearance felt vital. Now when it came to the Cambridge goal, it wasn't the best. It was very scrappy, it was very messy, it just wasn't organised. It wasn't pretty, but it counted, and it made the atmosphere even more intense. But as the clock kicked down to the very last seconds, the tension was unbearable. But then out of the blue, it happened. A penalty in the dying moments of the game that saved us a loss. Up stepped Aaron Collins. The stadium held its breath, and he struck it and buried it. Absolute chaos. With such relief, joy, and pure eruptions. Now, Aaron's celebration said it all. Sprinting straight towards us, leaping into the fans, passion pouring out of him. It wasn't just a goal, it was belief. It was a reward. It was third place secured in the most dramatic way possible. It's an afternoon that none of us will forget.
So here's the lineup for Cambridge. Craig McGillivray in goal. Sanders is back after a month. Nelson and Ekitepa in defence. Jones, Crowley, Offord and Mellish in the midfield. And then you've got just behind the striker, Wiles and Gilby. And then again, a lone striker of Hepburn.
So here is the current update on the injuries. Mendes Lang is still out, but from my understanding, he should be back within 2 to 3 weeks. Koller is in a similar position to Mendes Lang, so hopefully he should also be back within 2 to 3 weeks as well. Hatterson, unfortunately, is now out until the end of March, and unfortunately, Kane Wilson has had a setback and has to go back under the knife, so therefore he won't be available until next year now. Jay Mata is also out for the rest of the season, as he has done his hamstrings as well, but hopefully we'll see them all fighting fit for our League One campaign next year.
Harrogate Town are rock bottom of the EFL League 2, sitting 24th, but they are only 1 point from climbing out of the relegation zone. They fight for survival is well and truly alive. History, though, is on our side. We've faced Harrogate Town 5 times and won 4 of them, an 80% win rate compared to their 20%. Earlier this season, we ran riot with a dominant 4-0 victory with a brace from Alex Gilby and Aaron Collins, sealing a ruthless performance. But this won't be a walk in the park. Harrogate Town are finding form at just the right time, unbeaten in their last 5, 3 draws and 2 wins. Their biggest statement result was a win against Cambridge United. Charging towards promotion, they're battling for their Football League safety status. It's ambition versus survival. Pressure at both ends of the table, except grit, fight and tension. On paper, it's winnable. On the pitch, it be war. And that's exactly how it should be. So here's the lineup I think we'll use to face Harrogate. McGivray offered Sanders, Nelson, Ekitepa, then Mellish, Crowley, Gilby, Jones, and Wiles and Hepburn, Murphy up front.
You naughty man, Gilby.
So my goal score prediction for Harrogate Town is I think it's going to be a 2-0 win to the Dons, with my goal scorers Gilby and Collins.
I predict also a 2-0 win for the Dons. My goal scorers, Ben Wiles and Jack Sanders to get a header.
So I'd like to thank you for tuning into Team Talk with Ryan and Callum tonight, and hopefully Chris will be back with us next week. I'm starting to feel extremely excited about the rest of the season and genuinely hopeful that a promotion is within our grasp. I've only ever watched the American Dons in League 2, so the thought of going up makes the moment even more special, and it feels like something big is building. Also, a massive thank you to Ryan for getting me on the Team Talk. I really appreciate it, and I'm hoping to be back on soon alongside Chris. I'll see all 15,000 fans at Stadium MK on Saturday. Let's bring the noise, let's bring the passion, and let's push the boys over the line. Come on, you Dons.
Another great episode. Another great episode.
Luke, what are you doing in G Van's house?
I don't know.
He's moved over. Can I just say something? Can I just say
I'll play my connection.
Callum, I thought you were brilliant, mate. Well done. You, like Ryan said, great signing. But something struck with me. What he said, Cambridge, belief.
Mm-hmm.
That word he just said, it wasn't just, that goal didn't just mean a point, it was belief. And I think that's a very, very good point. Very good point.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. I always enjoyed Team Talk.
Good.
I feel a lot more comfortable after Team Talk.
Well, you won't, because there's another VT about to roll. We're all going to be talking about, which is into the week.
That was quick.
Over to you, Cole.
Well, I mean, the good news is, obviously, we were quite surprised about Kelly. Toby Locke told me about 10 o'clock in the morning. I stood talking to him outside. He didn't, Kelly's out. He had a bruised knee, but apparently he could be back this Saturday, couldn't he? And also, from the was it you spoke to Mendes Lang, didn't you?
Walsall.
And Mendes Lang, that's it, yeah, Walsall. And Mendes Lang said to you that he reckoned to be back for this game as well, didn't he?
Hope to be. Yeah. So.
And he sent a tweet out saying, "See you Saturday."
Yeah, but these things are sent cryptically to wind us up, Cole.
What, me and you?
100%.
Oh, okay. And we should talk about the other injury of the week. Brilliant news that Collins is back.
Yeah, 100%.
Brilliant news. Well, I wouldn't say it saved us, but it's done a real big job.
Yeah.
Is nobody going to speak?
I don't know if you're going to carry on, Cole. So go on, Luke.
Oh, I hate dead air, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, well, with Collins, it's definitely reassuring news that we've got another strong option up front. Yeah, it gives him a perfect opportunity to get a few more on the board. Same for Hepburn Murphy. It's a perfect opportunity for both of them. And to be fair, neither of them are particularly far behind Mendes Lang in terms of goals, and they're not too far away from Gilby either. So the race is kind of hotting up in terms of our own sort of top scorer chart. It's definitely good news to hear that Kelly's injury was only like a one-game thing. I think having him out for
a bruised knee, wasn't it?
Would have been a huge problem. Having both him and Patterson out for a sustained period, that just would have destroyed our style of play personally. With Mendes, I mean, obviously brilliant to have him back whenever he is back. Personally, wouldn't be taking any risks with him at all. It's obviously been a while since he's played. Even with a full preseason, it took him a little while to get up to speed and hit his best form. He's kind of one of those where if he's perfectly fit to play, then great. I'll put him on the bench and let him have a few minutes when we've got the option to. But I really wouldn't be taking any risks with him, especially because with Patterson out, Mendes is our real only. Well, he's probably our only real physical option up front aside from Hogan. So he's certainly one I wouldn't take risks with. Same with the likes of your Sanders, your Kellys. Let's not go too crazy with it. Let's just keep it steady. But yeah,
have you been drinking tonight, Luke?
I'm just vibing.
Hi, G, how are you?
I like it.
He's back again. He's back.
Sorry about that, man. All these connection problems.
No, it's all right. G-Man, don't worry. Not a problem at all. So
hopefully that's the last of it.
No, not a problem at all. So we were just talking about the injuries of the week. So I mean, obviously Kelly was it, I think for one game, Cole, isn't it, at the moment?
Bruised knee.
So hopefully he's back soon. And again, albeit it means you don't have to cry too much because it's not a career or a season-ending injury. And yeah, I mean, again with Collins as well. I think for me, that's an enigma because obviously he's been injured twice already this season. Come back, been fragile, injured again. And my worry is as good as he was against Cambridge. I mean, Luke, is a question for you as well, and G-Van. But I mean, do you risk him again for a full year against Gillingham and a Harrogate in 2 close games, and then he's out injured again potentially? That's my worry.
Yeah, well, let's not forget one of them was he broke his shoulder.
Well, exactly that. But I'm just saying, where he's just come back from injury. Given the fact that
it's not a regular injury, is it?
I mean, Mendes Lang, obviously, but we'll say. But I've got at the back of my head. It's just like if you push him too much, he could break again. That's my worry. And then where do you go from there? Ultimately, particularly with the running, and it's an important running as well.
Yeah, we've got. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You're trying to protect players. You're trying to conserve players.
It's an interesting one.
You're trying to manage injuries and things like that. You know,
obviously we don't want that to happen, but at the same time, I think we do need to utilize them. So I'm thinking, I would say, I would say starts him and then sub him like after half time or 60, 70 minutes.
Just to give it that rest, as you say, yeah, and that makes sense. And then, I mean, again, like G-Van, we talk about Mendes Lang coming back. So, again, a big physical presence coming back for us. And also, let's not forget, and I think, Luke, as you sort of touched on as well, but before his injury, he was just coming into some really good form, banging in some goals. And obviously, then that just got whipped away. So, he could equally be a critical player in that run-in. But again, it's about that time management in terms of minutes on the pitch. I think it's one of those. It's a really difficult one to gauge. You know what players like. I'm fit. I'm ready, Gaffer. I can play the whole game.
Yeah, it's a natural thing for a player to want to play, regardless of where they are in their fitness.
Yeah, I mean,
difficult.
Ultimately, we've got 12 games left. You'd rather have someone available for at least 11 of them than risk it all for sort of 90 minutes in one of those games and potentially have them missing for the rest. I think we've got to trust in the players that we've had available that have carried us through these last couple of fixtures without these players. We can't give up on them now that we've got another one of our big names back. So yeah, I think it's just I'd happily just play it safe with every player that's returning at this point. I don't think there's any need for us to take risks because we're going to need everyone for the run-in anyway. So yeah, no risks. That would be my entire approach, I think.
Right. Okay. So you're going to go with probably Collins and Hepburn Murphy up front.
I think for now I'd probably stick with the whole four-man midfield thing we've got going on. I don't think we necessarily need to change it. We can always swap back to the 5-3-2 if we feel like we need to. I'd just keep going with Rush for now, and then maybe just bring on Collins a little bit earlier, maybe.
Okay. All right.
Swap it over on Tuesday.
Right. Okay. Where do you want to go now, Aidan? Because we're running late.
Community. We've got the community day coming up, so I think that's a good way to finish up.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's a good idea. I could see the benefit of getting what we're talking 15,000 freebies in if they all spend a $5. And 2 to 5% come back another time.
Bless him.
Poor old G-Van.
I know it's one of those things. G-Van, if you're watching, don't worry, my friend. We'll get you back as and when we can do.
Yeah, and it happens to all of us. God forbid the day it ever happens to Aidan, because that'll be the whole show scuppered. I think it's a good thing. I'm not bothered about that they haven't paid and I have. Yeah, and what I will say, there are a few people have been online and say, well, I wouldn't mind a free pint, but if you think about it, if they gave us all a free pint, that would any percent, 15,000 seats given away has cost them nothing. Extra stewarding, probably extra staff, but the money they get in for 15,000 people is all additional income. Yeah. It's and if they gave us all a free pint, well, that'd at least halve that profit. So I mean, I can remember going to horse racing quite a few years ago down at Toaster, and it was free to get in because they made all their revenue out of what people were spending in the bars, on the food and all the rest of it, and that was the whole idea. I mean, I know they went broke, but I mean,
thanks for that inspiring outburst.
But I can understand why they've done it. Yeah, I mean, they've got to do something. They've got to do something, and I'll never knock anybody for trying something new.
I mean, Luke, you are probably one of the most in the know, particularly with the banter pages and some of the forums.
Yeah, you go on the banner pages, Luke.
Never touch one. But I mean, like, you know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know, you got no fans, the ground's empty. Are you giving away tickets? It's ridiculous. You can't win either way. But I mean, what's your take on the whole situation?
I mean, people are always going to be critical of any innovation. You know, there are people that aren't happy about what Bradford do because they just do season tickets and tickets really cheap. Like, and obviously we've kind of followed a similar idea, except we're doing it for one game and it's totally free. I see absolutely no problem with that. It's a great initiative whilst we're playing good football as well. On a season where, you know, the vibes around the place are really positive. Get a bunch of people in, which will include a lot of the younger generation. For those that don't know, I'm also a tennis coach, so I know kids that I coach that are going to be at that game, and you know they're not Don supporters, but they've heard about this and they're going to be there because of that. And that's what this sort of initiative is all about. It's giving us the potential to grow our fan base just by seeing this one game, and sometimes one game is all it will take.
That's all it took me. That's all it took me.
Yeah, exactly that. It's just giving people their sort of moment to sort of believe in the clubs, find something that they can fall in love with, and you know that's kind of the situation we've all gone through as fans, because everyone will kind of remember their sort of opening moment as a supporter. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. People can complain about it if they really like. As much as there have been people complaining, there, you know, it's always going to be there's always going to be that sort of vocal minority that are going to be very loud about it. Oh, you're doing this, that's a bad idea. It's not like that's the only way for you to say whatever. There's also,
but the bad response hasn't been across the board, has it?
Sorry?
The bad response has not been across the board because
it's been entirely split. There's been a lot of people that have accepted that actually, you know, it's a good idea and they'd love it if their own club did it. It's just we are in a position to be able to do that, and that's a great thing. We're gonna, you know, hopefully gain some fans from this, and you know, I think if other clubs could do it, some of them probably would. We're blessed with our.
Well, AFC certainly won't, will they?
Certainly not with their new pricing structures and whatnot. But
yeah,
you do wonder if there'll be one or two of the idiots turn up for the game, Cole, because stranger things have happened. But anyway,
yeah. Well, I mean, as well, you know. Yeah, we're talking about they'll be probably buying teas, coffees, burgers, you know, hot dogs, pizza, curry, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the chances are some of these people are going to be going in the shop and thinking, oh, I want to get a scarf, I want to feel part of it, you know, or get a bobble out or something like that. And the kids are going to want to, you know. So, you know, there could be that sales in the shop could go through the roof.
I mean, the other thing as well, and I think it's some valid point we put back up. Matt made a point here. He says, I think it's great half my under-9s team that he coaches are coming. He said to hear the talk about Dons week in, week out. Hopefully bring them and more families of young Dons. And that's exactly the point, Matt. You know, we've been screaming for years, and I have since the days of Wimbledon, about, you know, trying to build the fan base and being more proactive in the community is only a good thing. You know, I think they could go there's things that they could do and go further. I think we've said for years, Cole, about the new, you know, building sites.
Yeah, new build.
The new build, you put in a welcome pack, stick in a ticket, invite people to a game, things like that. You know, the flagstone businesses, MK, like MK Lightning do, they go in, they have a banner, you know, a banner they pull up, and they sit there and sell tickets to go and talk to the people that work at MK that might not necessarily live in MK as well. And I'd like to see more of that footprint. You know, we've also got the big screens we used to have out the front saying there's a game on, this is what's happening. So we've heard a lot of talk, and that's great. I want to see some more action and activity, and I appreciate the owners new in, and there's things that are building. They're doing some phenomenal things, but you need to keep engaging the community in a proactive way if you ever want to build it. And
something I keep saying to people, let's just remember how long these new people have been in charge.
Exactly.
You know, we've had 20 odd years of selling the family silver every summer. And then going back to square one again in bloody August, you know, we're on an upward trend. Let's not forget where we were before these new owners came
100%.
in. You know, I know a lot of people are grateful for Pete, but he had his limitations, unfortunately. And now we're in an enviable position where, you know, Poor old G. He's having a heart attack. Listen, G, don't worry. This happens all the while.
Happens to me and Colin as well. Don't worry.
Finally, I'm back.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, but don't worry.
I think, look, the other comment
I can see you having kittens sitting there.
But no, I think Albie's, again, a really valid comment, Albie, because it is something, because as long as the people who come are made to feel welcome, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some idiots at the game that sit there and like, well, how dare you stand up or sing at a football match? I mean, come on, you've never been to a real football match if you've done that. But in the main, the majority of people that come, you're going to get people from all different walks of life, background that may not have come to football, might not be their first interest. Make them feel welcome. Make them feel it's part of.
I think there is going to be this culture problem in the respect of, we all know when you go to an away game, if you want to stand up, you go to the back. If you want to sit down, you go to the front. Yeah. And people that come into the ground, and if there is anybody watching this, we've been standing for 20 bloody years when we're at the back. So don't sit in the back row and think everybody's going to sit down. It ain't happening.
No, exactly. So, look, I think overall we can all sit there and find things to pick at, but we need to do something to build that fan base. I think the future is bright. I think, the younger fan base generation, of which two of our outstanding younger generation are sitting with us tonight. That's the future. Look, for me, coming over when Wimbledon and everything that happened as it was, okay, there was a hardcore of people. There's still some of us that still go. Colin and people have come along and exactly.
Eat your eye out, Luke, mate.
But yeah, it's and I think Jivan, you quite eloquently put it.
Well, that is completely.
I'm here. I know. Right.
My name as well.
There we go. I cursed it. But Jivan's like you said when you started, I've only known the Dons. Yeah. And I think a lot of those fans, let's not forget, a lot of the fans, the Dons action as well, particularly, they only started as kids when the club started. People castigate Dons, it's, but it's the past, get over it, we're going nowhere. It's been 20 plus years now. And a lot of the fan base that's growing never knew that. The old duffers like me might have done, but then people didn't know that. So you've got to, look at it, that where were the Tottenhams, the Man United, or Newton Heaths as they were back in the day, when they were 20 years in. Of course they had a small fan base. It grows, it takes time. But the way to encourage that, the way to accelerate that is give people a reason to come. This is an example of that. But it's what you do after this and how you engage during that match is how successful you can benchmark that. If we go from an average gate of 7,000 to 10,000 next season, that's progress. But you need to keep encouraging people and generate that interest. You can't just do a one-off and that's it. That doesn't work that way.
Don's Action have got a big display again on Saturday, haven't they?
They have.
Yeah. Huge display.
Yep. Really, really big.
So that's going to be really interesting. I'm not. What was that? Quality comment, inspirational comment. Nearly choked. Well, I don't know what I said, but I'm quite inspirational, apparently.
There we go. But anyway, Jivan's back now. Hopefully, we don't all drop because I've said your name again. But Jivan, what's your take on the community day, particularly? I mean, what's your view in terms of the proactive engagement across community, getting people into the stadium? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I think it's a really nice initiative. I think Milton Keynes got quite a large population, but as we say, it's only a few thousand that watched. And something that came to my mind now is if you look at when we were in the Championship, we had over 10,000 fans or so, or near around them numbers attending. So I think we have lost some of those fans as well. So hopefully, I don't think the community day alone is going to help bring the fan base up significantly just like that. But I also think that if we can get promoted and start doing well again, just like we have done in the past, let's not forget, first we got promoted to League One, we were on an upward curve since then, and then eventually going to the Championship. I think it takes something like that to ultimately get the fan base in, because if you think about it, also, we're a League Two club. We've got some of the higher attendances figures, but a League Two club, realistically, just right now isn't getting 10,000 plus fans. So I think we also, if we're going to get more fans, we need to just do better and just start going up the leagues as well as these community days.
No, I think so. I think, again, success breeds success, right? You know, the higher up the leagues you go, if you get to the championship, that's going to bring in an average gate of at least 15,000 just because of the teams you're playing. So I think, as you say, they go hand in hand. But I think absolutely these initiatives, and again, as long as they're not one-offs, but you've got to be thinking bigger at what's the next step of those new builds or the cornerstone businesses in Milton Keynes, the pricing structure next season, etc., etc., etc. Those.
Yeah, well, that's got to be on a par with this season, hasn't it?
You would hope. Or I'm going to say, and it will not happen, but like we did in COVID, I think if you drop the price down a little bit and actually give people a reason to come, people would buy in and come.
100% agree with that.
Yeah. You know, I mean, if you had a season ticket and it might be 220 quid, who's going to argue with that? If you're going to put the average gate ticket.
Well, I didn't when I bought mine.
There's always the odd one. But for me,
I am over the
over a certain age, Cole. Over a certain age. But my point is, like, again, 25 on the gate in League Two. I just think that prices people out of interest. 10 quid on the gate for an adult, £5 for a kid. I think is plenty if you want to get people through the door. Once you've got people through the door and there's a regular generation of fans, then you can start thinking about how prices increase and lift. But at the moment, we've got a fantastic superstore, fantastic stock, and it's probably the worst season ticket sales we've had in living memory. Ironically, if you look at that. So it's like, how do you equate and offset that? You've got the infrastructure now, you've got the shop, you've got the marketing, you've got some great people through the door. It's now getting the customers back in, if you like, or the fans through the door in the shop and also into the stadium as well.
So Neil Art was probably right. It is critical.
I wouldn't say it's critical if we don't go up, but then if we don't go up, I would do a Bradford. I would make the prices stupid money, fill the ground next season, make it an absolutely bouncing place, an absolute fortress, and for fans to be filling that place up, and for teams to be coming in feeling intimidated by the
atmosphere. Win the league by Christmas.
Absolutely.
On the beach in May.
Absolutely. Yeah, Liam Kelly, man.
There.
Yeah, Liam Kelly, player of the season, so Albie's happy as well. There we go. What can you say?
Ollie Pearce up front, 40 goals a season.
Yes. I thought we were signing Ronaldo if we go up. That was a rumour anyway, but there we go.
Anyway, is there anything else?
Anyway, I think that's it.
Really?
I think that's it.
Feels like we've only been on 2.25 hours.
Feels like, yeah, exactly. Feels exactly like that, right? But look, again, massive thank you to you, Jivan, and massive thank you to you, Luke, as well, for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Both of you. As I mentioned at the start of the show, Jivan does do a new hot, and I call it hot because it is hot, review of our post-match for most of our games now on YouTube. We'll find the links and we can post it up so you can see it. Make sure you take the time to help Jivan out. Watch his show and give him some likes because he's doing some great stuff. Luke, already celebrity status without even having to introduce the guy, now does
most popular man in the EFL, Luke, aren't you?
Now does League Two Lowdown, not Fourth Tier Fever. So if you remember Fourth Tier Fever, it's now called League Two Lowdown. Get yourself over there if you want to think all things League Two, not just Dons. Great watch, great listen. Please engage as well.
And can I make a suggestion to Luke? Change the name of your podcast again and call it Cry Harder Kiddo.
Oh, very appropriate name.
They love you on there, don't they?
Oh, they do. Hey, it brings views.
It's a gift that just keeps on giving.
It is.
Oh,
they're so easy to wind up, aren't they?
Bloody Milton Keynes won again.
Yeah.
That bloody Luke Payne will be on again in a little while.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, I think that's pretty much us, Cole. Unless you've got or Luke.
No. We'll be back next. Are we back next week?
Back next Wednesday.
Yeah, back next Wednesday. We don't. One night we've got to change it, haven't we? Because we're playing on the Wednesday.
I think
that's Colchester, I think. We'll tell you about that next week. We'll arrange that. Again, thanks, Jivan. Thanks to Luke.
Thank you, guys.
To Aiden. Thanks to Aiden. Fantastic. What a host. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
And he hasn't even got that shirt on anymore.
I got my Irish Dons kit on this time. There you go.
We'll be back next week. Thanks to Ryan. Oh, bloody hell.
What a turn.
Newcastle were down to 10 men.
I know, they obviously heard our comments about Howe's getting the sack and they turned it around.
Oh, right. That was commenting on your toaster races comment. They went broke. Yeah, thanks to Callum. Callum, top signing there, Ryan and Chris. Getting back on. We'll see you next Wednesday, 7:45. Tell everybody. We'll see you Saturday. I won't be going on Tuesday. Will you go Tuesday?
Oh, now Colin's. Honestly, he couldn't make it.
We're doing well today.
I'll give him a second.
I'll
give him a second. Let's just see if it happens, Luke. Let's see what happens. There he is. He's back. No, he's back. There we go. Who's laughing now, Colin Butler? Who's laughing now?
Unbelievable. So, listen, anyway, are you going on Tuesday?
Yes.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I can't go, but I shall be... is it live on TV? Of course it is.
Well, it will be in certain places, depending on the legalities of the aforementioned show place you're watching.
I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Thank you for that. Brilliant show. See you Saturday. We'll see you around the Cas Bar. Don't forget that.
9 a.m. if you want your breakfast early.
9 a.m. So, right, G-Van, if you've watched the show, we're going to see how we get on here. Right. Say goodnight, G-Van.
Good night, guys. Thank you so much for having me on, and thanks for all the kind comments as well, guys. I've seen them all. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that was a bit more than what we wanted, but thank you anyway. Yeah. Say goodnight, Lukey.
Good night, kiddo.
Say goodnight, Aidan, will you, please?
Good night, Aidan.
Excellent. We'll see you Saturday. Come on, you Dons!
Come on, you Dons. 3 points. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Good night. Thanks for watching.
Good night, guys. Thank you.